The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping!
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Championship Overreaction Monday, January 27th, 2025. This program starts now. Football! It is wonderful, and now we have our Super Bowl matchup for down in New Orleans. Representing the AFC will be the Kansas City Chiefs. Representing the NFC will be the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's start with those games now. The Philadelphia Eagles absolutely boat raced the Washington Commanders. It was an all-NFC East affair in the NFC Championship, and the story of the game would be the run game is able to win in 2025. Saquon Barkley on his first touch, 60-yard cutback, spin move, Saquon Barkley stuff. Then the second time he get the ball, guess what? Another touchdown where he'd cut it back to the right side after an entire side was caved in by Lane Johnson and the boys. And this one became a runaway quickly as the Philadelphia Eagles dominate the Washington Commanders. Now, Jaden Daniels, well ahead of schedule. Congratulations there.
There you go, commies.
Terry McLaurin, although people say he has a terrible haircut, phenomenal football player. Yep. They are way ahead of schedule. Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, new ownership. Congratulations to the Commanders becoming one of the final four teams in the NFL, making it to the NFC Championship. We are incredibly happy for all the Washington fans, the Commanders fans, the football team fans, and the OG Washington Redskins fans who are still in abundance. And I think the future is very, very bright in D.C. Now, Philadelphia Eagles team is going to be tough to stop. You know, all year we've been following along with the offensive lines, with A.Q. Shipley, OG in the trenches. And all year he's been talking about how great and dominant this particular offensive line group was. They were dealing with a little bit of an injury there now. Jurgensen, who came in, obviously, to fill in for Jason Kelce after he retires at center, he's supposed to be the starter. Well, he has a back issue, whether it's spasms or tightening up, whatever the case is. So they put in Dickerson, who's an absolute dog. He ends up having an ankle injury. He can't even walk. So Jurgensen actually ends up playing. Dickerson ends up playing. Two hurt guys. It doesn't matter. They rush for 7 touchdowns in the NFC Championship. 7 of them.
Damn.
7 touchdowns. That's the most since the NFL-AFL merger. I don't know what happened before then, if they were just running and didn't know how to throw the ball. 7 touchdowns is a dominating performance on the ground. Saquon obviously incredibly pumped that he ended up signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, all eyes go back to that Hard Knocks when Mara was saying it's going to be hard for me to sleep if Saquon Barkley's on Philadelphia Eagles. He is by far our most popular player we've ever had. Well, he goes to Philadelphia, new city, new team, same story. This guy is beloved. This guy is utilized. This guy is a weapon. And this guy has taken it back old school and made the Philadelphia Eagles a rushing first offense, a team that only moves the ball on the ground seemingly. Now, Jalen Hurts dropped a couple dots in there, too. A lot of people said, well, his knee's banged up. Okay, obviously. A lot of people say this guy dressed like an asshole coming into the games. Yeah. A lot of people say this guy can't throw. This guy's too cool. How about on 4th down, dropping a dot into A.J. Brown's arms? Now, people say anybody could make that throw. No, you couldn't. And what people were saying all week leading up to this game was Jalen Hurts can't make that throw. Then he had another touchdown throw to A.J. Brown on an absolute line. Jalen was spinning it. Kelly Moe was calling it.
Yeah.
The offensive line was blocking their asses off, and this Philadelphia Eagles team puts up 50-some points for the first time in a championship game's history. Congrats to Coach Sirianni, the Eagles, and their defense for being awesome.
Yes.
Their defense, the exciting whites are all over the place.
Dogs.
Have we got eyes on Bond's Is he a...
His lineage, yes, we saw that he played soccer and was a ballerina, I believe.
So...
I believe, and Darius can also confirm this, he has been added to the Exciting Whites.
No, I don't know. I don't know. The goatee. I don't know, but I do know that he tag teamed with the Exciting Whites here to get a turnover early in the game, which seemingly was the story of the game. The Eagles would get 28 points off a turnover. Sheesh. 28 points off a turnover. So the defense was hungry hippos, then the offense would take advantage of it. Let's go. 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler is here. Will Shipley was added to the Exciting Whites. He had a massive kickoff return, had a forced fumble on a kickoff tackle, obviously had some big runs at the end of that entire thing, ended up scoring a touchdown. But tell me about this Philadelphia Eagles defense. Obviously, they're in the Super Bowl. They're championship caliber. They're fun to watch, and they get that rock, don't they, defense?
Yeah, I mean, Vic Fangio got these guys playing great, but the number one defense for a while now, since, I think, putting Cooper DeJean in that slot position. Quinyon Mitchell, their first 2 picks in the back end. Quinyon Mitchell was locked down. He's got 2 picks now throughout this playoff run. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, like on every level of that defense, they fly around. You talked about it, 28 points off of turnovers. In these games, it comes down to turnovers. It comes down to explosive plays. So when you can get those turnovers and create points off of them, you're going to win more games than not. Jaden Daniels, he played a good game, but when you can't hold on to the ball, you won't have a chance creating those explosive plays in the run game like they do on offense. And then Jalen Hurts, I think, answered a lot of questions that were out there for whatever reason. He moves now to 5-0 at home in the playoffs. So taking care of the football, making throws when he needed to. Dallas Goedert was banged up this week. He had a big game. Found A.J. Brown when he needed him to. Jalen Hurts, didn't do a bunch on the ground with his legs. But, once they got in that tush-push area, they were still able to get it done.
Well, the tush-push obviously is certainly a part of the conversation there because Washington was able to get a stop early on the tush-push. And then later in the fourth quarter, there would be a situation where, they were down 11, the Commanders, and they were trying to do whatever. So I'm going up over top to stop this thing. Well, they go, we're going to do a hard count. Okay, so they stopped the tush-push. How do you change that? Well, let's get them on their heels a little bit. We can't have them guessing the snap count. So we do a couple hard – well, he's going to jump all over top.
Don't care.
Then the ref would come out and say, hey, if he does it again, it's going to be a personal foul. We're going to have to do this entire song and dance again. There's offside. Then Hockey Lee would come out and say –
Washington has been advised that at some point the referee can award a score if this type of behavior happens again. For now, it's a replay of second down.
Listen, if you keep doing this garbage, and we know it's half the distance to the goal, you keep trying to guess the snap count, jump off sides, we can just award a score, which we hope he would give the touchdown to Nick Sirianni.
Right,
so then Sirianni could get out there and spike it all. But right before he said that, Pereira, I believe, said the exact same thing in the rule book, pretty deep down there. But it's one of these things where, immediately the reaction from the fans is, oh, so we can't stop some. We try to stop some. Now the ref's going to force it to happen. It's like, I understand where you're coming from, but you can't just be hopping up over the line of scrimmage before the ball snapped. He kicked Juergens in the back of the head like 2-3 different times. I love the Polamalu move. I love what LeVar Arrington used to do. I love whenever players are able to time it up, but I also appreciate the fact that Kelly Moe and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts said, all right, we got to slow down this defense a little bit. Let's keep them guessing. Let's do a hard count, and it worked out perfectly. Everything the Eagles were seemingly doing yesterday was working. Congrats to the Eagles getting back to the Super Bowl. And also, congrats to the Eagles fans. I heard there was 0 horse shit ate.
Yeah.
What?
Just good times down there on Broad Street. I guess it was they couldn't end it. So I guess one thing led to another, and then I think the city was like, all right, this is over. And then everybody was like, nah, we're still here. Yeah. And they're like, we're going to have to get everybody out of here. They're like, nah, we're still here.
Did Meek Mill end up performing?
He said, you meet me down at the Capitol. Somebody bring some speakers. And hold on, wait a minute. I don't know if he did that or not, but I do know that football is the greatest. Look at this city coming together. And obviously, we've seen videos of Philadelphia and people in the streets. Okay, it always hasn't been as jovial. There's obviously been protests and riots and things that have taken place. But whenever an entire city comes together to celebrate something special, I think it's wonderful. And that's why sports are the greatest thing on earth. And congrats to all these Johns in Philadelphia getting a chance to celebrate this particular team because they play tough football, they play sound football, and they have a coach that has been counted out every single week. And all he's done is lead the boys to the Super Bowl. Speaking of, I believe, Coach Sirianni is having a press conference right now. Yep, we join Coach Sirianni in his press conference over in Philadelphia, I believe. Yep, there he is.
How's everybody doing today? First things first, I'd just like to say 2 Super Bowl appearances in 4 years, not bad for a glorified cheerleader, which is what everybody thinks I am. Big dumb dipshit. Guy can't coach, plays with Legos in his office, watches Rocky movies, gives bullshit rah-rah speeches to the boys. 2 Super Bowls, 4 years, you know? Say something now. Maybe, I don't know, you guys could tell me, media could tell me, because they got all the answers for what I should be doing. Maybe if I don't know, put my hat on backwards, like this, like Dan Quinn does, and everyone will talk about me like I'm the second coming of Tom Landry. I routinely beat that guy's ass, have done it for years and years. But again, because I did the flower pot analogy a couple years ago and did the less athlete thinky, more athlete takeover, people just assume I'm an absolute moron. Well, guess what? I'm not. Okay, I'm the best goddamn coach in the NFL. There's no two ways about it. I don't love doing it. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're going to win a Super Bowl this year. I'm going to be a Super Bowl champion. Probably going to go down as the best head coach in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. No disrespect to Coach Reed, but he did. He ran my ass out of Kansas City when I was there and he first got there. So fuck him as well. Now, listen. People can say what they want to say. Proof's in the pudding. You score 7 rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship. Am I an offensive genius? You can put Kelly Moe. He's unbelievable. He's going to be the Cowboys' next head coach. Well, Jerry thought Brian Schottenheimer was a better coach than Kelly Moe. So is it all Kelly Moe? Is it me? Is it Vic Fangio? Let's just put this sleeping dog to bed, okay? Okay, I know that's a bit of a double entendre. Sleeping dog, maybe Ari asleep, don't need to put him to bed, but let's put to bed anyway. I am the best coach in the NFL. Certainly the best coach in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to reiterate it. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 4 years. This guy doesn't know how to coach. Well, okay, show me a coach who does know how to coach. And I'll show you a guy who can't hold, my jockstrap when it comes to not only X's and O's, but also getting the boys ready to go for a physical, rough and tumble football game in the playoffs at the Link. You don't want to see us, and you don't want to see us in New Orleans either. That being said, I think we'll open this up for some questions.
Coach Dan Orlovsky, ESPN. I was just kind of curious.
I'm gonna cut you off right there, Dano. You can tongue my beanbag. I'm not answering any questions from you. Probably ever again. Good luck getting a coaching job. I'm sure I'm going to have glowing things to say about you if people come and ask me about Dan Orlovsky. And you know what? Actually, I'm not going to take any questions from the Philly media either, because you assholes had a lot to say about me all year long, and now you're the ones tonguing my beanbag because we're going back to a Super Bowl. So I got a lot to do, get Jalen right, get Saquon right, AJ, me and him might read a couple books together, maybe watch a Rocky movie. We'll see you guys down in New Orleans. It's going to be a good time, okay?
All right, that's that for Coach Sirianni. Had a lot to say, obviously a lot to prove. Let's go to the talks table at Boston Connor and Ty Schmidt. Ty, love Coach Sirianni kind of getting the last laugh. Hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but 2 Super Bowls in 4 years as a head coach is historic, obviously, Ty. And he was kind of letting be. He was the cock of the walk there. He's feeling good. He should be strutting his stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we've talked about it time and time again. What does this guy need to do before he gets just a modicum of respect? Just an ounce. I mean, even yesterday, you put out the tweet like, hey, maybe this guy isn't a big, dumb dipshit. And you look at all the replies, and it's just like, yeah, real hard to be a head coach when you have Saquon or when you have this defense. Like, no one gives him any credit. No one thinks he does anything. He's a head coach in the NFL for the best team in the NFC. He's going back to his 2nd Super Bowl in 4 years. Like, it's crazy that he still is talked about the way that he is. But Coach Sirianni certainly seems like a stack the chips on the shoulder guy. So he knows, like, hey, let's go get it done.
How come Dana was cut off there? I didn't know Dan had time to make it to a press conference. I seen him on TV all morning. He said, I saw a Dana tweet that said, since September, I knew that this guy was going to be the guy. I don't know if that's necessarily how Coach Sirianni feels.
No, yeah, I think Coach Sirianni understands that, like, hey, when things are going great, you can say, like, hey, I love this guy, trust this guy, he's the best in the business, but he hasn't forgotten what Dan said. Yeah, I mean, Dan for the longest time was saying, hey, listen, I don't trust this guy in the playoffs. Sorry, this guy stinks. He's going to be the reason that the Eagles have a horrendous downfall. And here they are, marching down to New Orleans. So Coach Sirianni hasn't forgotten. But you're right, Dan has been very busy. I'm surprised he had time to make it to that press conference.
I have some stats here from Hembo, and congrats, Coach Sirianni. He should be taking a victory lap. And when I put that tweet out, a lot of people go, what did he do?
Yeah.
It's like the head coach.
Excuse me?
We're talking about the head coach of the football. He didn't do anything. Kellen Moore's calling the plays. Vic Fangio's doing. So we're just going to lump all head coaches now into the don't do anything department. Who has to set the tone, set the narrative, set the schedule, the itinerary? Who hired these people? Who decided that this is what we're going to do? Who said, Saquon's going to be the focal point of our offense, even though we've already paid A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Who's the one delivering the message each week for us to rally around? Like, what? He didn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything.
What did this guy do? That just being allowed to be said by people, and it's not fans' fault. Okay, fans are going to feel the way they're going to feel. And you can have however many thoughts about Paisan you want because of his antics. He doesn't act like anybody else, okay? He's one of one, Sirianni, by far. But it's because everybody on TV calls him a big dumb dipshit all the time.
For sure.
And people think they're allowed to say, this guy doesn't do anything. Sure. He's just sitting up there with the head. He's the head coach of an NFL team. He has a lot on his plate day in, day out, including how we're going to focus in and dominate. Here's some stats about this Eagles team. This season, they've had 725 rush attempts, 517 pass attempts. When you talk about fully committing to the run game, Kellen Moore, right? I know he wants to run up scoreboards, what Mike McCarthy told about him. Who do you think's telling Kellen Moore, hey, we're sticking with the run, we're sticking with the run, we're sticking with the run? Who do you think that is?
Probably Coach Sirianni.
I would assume that is Coach Sirianni football, including the playoffs. Saquon Barkley has scored seven 60-yard touchdowns from scrimmage this season, most in the history of the NFL. 3,731 yards. No team in NFL history has rushed for more in a season than the 2024 Eagles. 7 rushing touchdowns. Obviously, yesterday is the most all-time in the history of the NFL playoffs. Who do you think is the one deciding what type of football team they're going to have? It's Coach Sirianni. He should be doing a victory. That didn't look exactly like the Coach Sirianni that we've seen there in that press conference. That might not have
Pretty
been
close.
That might not have been actually him.
Are you sure?
No, that was definitely him.
The amount of hate that he gets, he's wild.
It is wild.
Absolutely wild. What was the percentage of bets yesterday on Commanders versus the Eagles?
It ended up being 66%.
66% of the people were pulling for the Washington Commanders. I think that was their heart voting against the Eagles. The Eagles get the win and the cover. Congrats to Philadelphia and the Johns. And then let's go to the AFC Championship. The Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs yesterday. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Another absolute thriller. It started with the national anthem. Retired Petty Officer General Wilson crushed it. Hey, that was maybe the best national anthem that I've heard. Congratulations, General. That was amazing. He went for it, too, a couple different times.
So good.
No flub, no crack, no nothing. Congrats to him. Great start to an AFC championship. I put out a tweet to say, old buddy absolutely slaughtered this national anthem. And the amount of, agreed, was cool. People are saying they were getting emotional. Listen to it. Like, people are saying,
understandable.
Like, hey, I'm not that big of a emotional person. It's not like I served in the military or anything like that. But when you hear this and see this and you just step up and crush it, sets the tone for a perfect game, which he definitely did. And also, I think it was a lot of like, hell yeah, America, out of this guy. So thank you to retired Petty Officer General Wilson for doing that. Thank you to that man and Andy Reid for getting their teams ready, because what a game it was. Now listen, the conversation this morning is strictly around the Chiefs and the refs. That's all it's going to be.
Again?
Josh Allen got the first down. Josh Allen got the first down.
Oh, no.
I would like to say that immediately upon seeing it, I thought Josh Allen got the first down. But then whenever the ref here on the near side, and I think it's very interesting because you see the far ref line judge and then the near ref line judge, they come in at 2 different angles. Okay, they're seeing 2 different things. Now, people are saying the far judge is the one that's going to see the ball. I don't think he can see anything because there's 2 people standing right in front of his face. Normally very difficult for these judges that are on the sideline to see anything, especially whenever it's a massive scrum. I personally believe Josh Allen got the first down. I also believe Dalton Kincaid on the play before got the first down. But whenever they call it on the field, not first down, then they go to review, and it's that much of a cluster, I think it was going to be tough to overturn. But boy, people did not care about that. This was the refs in the 4th quarter, whenever the Kansas City Chiefs were down, making a decision for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, could that easily have been called a first down and after review stayed with it? Yes. Now, after review, are they going to overturn anything at this? Probably not, is how it normally goes. The fact it worked out for the Chiefs, yet again, people say, how many coincidences we got to see before we start thinking this is a conspiracy? I even got people that are pretty high up in the world.
Okay.
High up in the world, saying this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. I don't want to hear a single thing tomorrow on your show about that not being a first down. You better say the truth. You better stick up for what's real and what is a problem. The refs are working alongside Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Taylor Swift to get the Chiefs into the Super Bowl. I think that whatever was called on the field is going to get called in the review no matter what. Can you argue that Dalton got it? Yes. Can you argue that Josh got it? Yes. But to say they even went to a review and then they returned it, normally this type of thing is going to remain call on the field. That ref up there, though, pretty pigeon-toed.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know if I've ever seen, and maybe, I assume he's been doing this all year and we just haven't noticed. He had some sweet high-top J's on, too, with the white backs there. I appreciate that. But his right foot, you know, he's got one of these.
Yep.
He's got one of these. I mean, he's coming in that son of a bitch sideways.
Parallel.
Like that, you know? And normally you're spotting the ball with your foot. So I think we should talk about that. I think we should talk about that maybe for future. Maybe put him in a different spot.
Sure.
Because, like, when you're coming, I don't know.
Can't be making a
that's
right
going to be
angle.
tough for me. And then the catch, obviously, Xavier Worthy, whenever he goes up and snags that thing out of Bishop's hand and it hits the ground and they call it a catch, tie goes to the runner, always has. In football, tie goes to the receiver as opposed to the defender. I think he had full possession of it. And when it hit the ground, you could obviously call it incomplete. And it could, obviously, it's a massive play in the game, and it's the Chiefs yet again. But it doesn't move when it hits the ground. Seems to be pretty sturdy. It's like, it's amazing all these things happen, and the Chiefs end up on the benefiting side of it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the Chiefs don't care. Chiefs just won another AFC championship. And 5 times, I believe now, Patrick Mahomes is going to the Super Bowl in his 7 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Crazy.
He is bananas. I hate the fact that the refs are always the conversation. Travis Kelce lead blocking for him here in the fourth to take the lead, obviously cinema. You know, like Travis Kelce, all-time leading receiver, the worst spike in the history of football potentially there by Patrick Mahomes, let alone AFC championship games and everything like that. But like the conversation just being about the refs full time, I think is obviously something that's going to continue to happen for as long as they continue to win, especially with the calls that are taking place. But what we're witnessing here out of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, in this Kansas City Chiefs team is awesome. It's a spectacle. Their special teams even showed up this week. Coach Tobe, the special teams coordinator, Hall of Famer. Coach Spags, defense coordinator, Hall of Famer. Andy Reid, anytime he's coaching or calling plays, he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be great. So I think there's a lack of respect for the greatness because everybody just wants to pin it on something. But if you've been great for this long and you get some calls that go your way, people are going to hate it. We saw it with the Patriots. We're seeing it with the Chiefs. But all this team does is win, which is why I say the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. Now, if you want to believe that the Chiefs is only the Chiefs because of the refs, go ahead and believe it. Then you should bet on them in the Super Bowl.
For sure.
If you think that's going to be the case. Let's utilize it. If you think it's a conspiracy for them to win, go ahead and utilize it for your own personal gain if you can. But I think what Patrick Mahomes is able to do, what this Chiefs team is able to do, is win games. Josh Allen, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Tough.
Job well done.
Tough to lose yet again. Hair. Sweet.
Great flow right now.
He's got great hang time coming out of the back. I respect it. But he puts on another great performance. I think he has like 9 touchdowns, no turnovers, 4 sacks taken in all the games, in the playoff games against, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, he plays through the roof, continues to lose to him. If you're playing the Chiefs, what is your thoughts, D-Butch? If you're playing against that defense, what is your thoughts? Because the play that kind of ended it is the Josh Allen roll right, Hail Mary, somehow Dalton Kincaid's right there. Got to catch it. He knows that. Dalton Kincaid knows that great play. But I think, you know, I got a text from Coach Pagano right before this. It said, Spags just brought all out basically on 3rd down. Will he do it again on 4th down? Then as soon as the game comes back on, Tony Romo's like, Jam, you know, Spags brought it. Will he do it again? Everybody seemingly thought they were going to bring pressure on this 4th down, try to get Josh Allen flustered. He still finds an open guy. Josh Allen is so good, so damn great. He just so happens to be in the Patrick Mahomes era. Is that the way to view this thing? And at what moment does he get over the hump?
Yeah, it's hard to put. You can't put this on Josh Allen, obviously. And it's not just Mahomes. You know, it's not just Mahomes. It's not just Andy. It's not just Spags. It's all of them. It's the collective. And they just seem to always make that one extra play, whatever it is. And the Bills had an opportunity to get it back and answer to what the Chiefs did. But even that last play with Spags bringing that pressure, bringing McDuffie off the edge, it seems like anytime it's all on the line, Spags is going to bring pressure and dial it up. So a lot of people are bringing up the next-gen stats with the bubble and say, oh, just swing it out to Shakir. But that pressure in Josh Allen's face, it was great that he even got this ball, took Kincaid down the field. But this is just the brilliance of Spags bringing that overload pressure to his right side, that offense. And if you throw it to Shakir, I think they rally and make that tackle shorter the sticks. But that's just them making one extra play. And even with Patrick Mahomes not necessarily having the most explosive plays in the pass game, but using his legs. The first time when these two teams faced off in the regular season, I don't think Mahomes had any rushing yards, and he has over 40 rushing yards, and this one 2 rushing touchdowns. So Andy Reid kind of dialing it up, getting guys involved that you wouldn't expect. Perrine on that last play to convert the third down. Juju Smith-Schuster making big plays. So, yeah, Mahomes, Spags, Chris Jones, all these guys just seem to make a play, just one more play every time, regardless of who's on the other side of that ball.
And now we're just a couple weeks away from potential history, and people are pissed off about it.
Yeah.
People are not happy that it's Chiefs-Eagles. Now, I've seen a lot of people say, I'm not watching. You're not going to watch the Super Bowl?
Come on.
Okay. You're punishing yourself.
Yeah.
We only got one football game left.
It's the best one.
And it's between a Philadelphia Eagles team that's been counted out all season long, even though they've been winning, and then a Kansas City Chiefs team that said this is the worst team that they've ever had, and they're making it to the Super Bowl. Had home field advantage throughout the Super Bowl. These teams are special. I cannot wait to watch them battle.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. And the Mahomes thing, there was some stat about him where, in the playoffs during, crunch time, whatever that is deemed, where you're either down a score or you're tied, Mahomes is perfect. He's like 9 for 9 on drives, getting points, either going to tie the game or to go up and score. And he did it twice when it was 22-21. Obviously, they went up and got the 2-point conversion and made it 29-22. And then, of course, again, when it was tied, they drove down the field and kicked a field goal. So when you need him the most is when he plays the best. And kind of to the tush-push conversation, like, hey, the reason it's not banned is because, like, the Bills couldn't do it. Like, that is the whole reason it's so special for Philly, because it's automatic. Like, the Bills, that wasn't the only time where it didn't work for Buffalo yesterday. Like,
they said he goes over to left guard or whatever instead of over center. They said the Chiefs knew that. They were planning for that, and they obviously worked it and everything like that. I mean, it's hard not to say he got the first down right there, especially from this angle when it's off center.
Sure.
Especially whenever there's an over top angle, too, that does it. But I might be wrong. I don't know if they've ever overturned a call in a scrum like this where there's been less than a half a yard has been moved.
But also, if you like, to Connor's point, like the Chiefs all night long it was basically running into a brick wall when the Bills were trying to do the tush push. And the main difference in the game was short yardage. The Bills had no imagination. They were just running Josh into a brick wall all night long. And then Mahomes, every single third and short, fourth and short, run pass option on the edge, easy, night long.
How come Joe Brady stopped with the Josh Allen and shotgun all by himself?
Good question.
Just
power.
That was literally they've done that.
Yeah, pull Dion.
Just pull Dion. Even have the extra offensive lineman number 70 who report, dude.
Yeah.
What is this guy? He got like 3 penalties yesterday, either for not reporting or not being off the line. It's like that's got to get figured out too. That hasn't been chatted about enough. This AFC Championship game, we got logistical shit happening like that. That can't be happening up there. But Josh Allen in shotgun all by himself has been their go-to. He just runs to the right basically every single time.
They did it once and got it last night.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense why they don't do that every single time. But I think we all wonder why maybe they overthink in the biggest moments. Joining us now might have more answers on all of it. Also a guy who is currently... This guy's spotlighting a bunch of malarkey.
What's that about?
Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Michigan man, friend of the program, Adam Schefter.
Yay.
Shefty,
happy Monday, man.
Hey, happy Monday to you. Happy Overreaction Monday on this championship Monday after we have now found our champions for the AFC and the NFC. And, you know what, Shefty, great season this year out of you. Now, I didn't know you were a conspiracy theorist, though.
Whoa.
I didn't know that you like to amplify everything that's happening on the internet. I didn't know that you like to spread misinformation or propaganda about the NFL and the refs wanting the Chiefs to win. I saw your mentions after you put this out. You obviously were getting cooked, but this is a real convo that's happening around NFL fan bases. They think that the NFL wants the Chiefs to win. Now, we have certainly talked about this. What are your thoughts on it all, and how do you see this playing out for future conversations with the NFL?
Pat, I would just say this. Again, the facts are the facts. I presented facts. There was zero, let me be very clear about that, zero intent behind that. I'm a little surprised that people are so offended with factual information. There was zero agenda. Zero agenda. It was a number, some stats in conjunction with a story that the NFL is considering expanding replay assist to include plays that include quarterback slides. That's it. Those are the numbers. That's it. No agenda. Listen, honestly, what the Chiefs are doing is incredible. Who doesn't like watching somebody do something that has never been done in the NFL ever?
Well,
a three-time champion.
A lot of people, Schefty. A lot of people are hating this.
Well, okay. Again, I'm not in that camp. I'm just telling you, when that information comes out, the news is that the NFL is going to be expanding replay assist. They're probably going to include the quarterback slide. And here are some numbers. Sorry that offended people. There was zero intent. Just let me be very clear about that.
Okay, I appreciate that. And also, you're trying to give credit to Hembo, who dug up all these stats and everything. We love Hembo. He sends us a lot of stats. He is the weapon behind a lot of ESPN's folks' talking points, whether he gets credit for it or not. He does not care, but I appreciate you giving him some love in this entire thing. And the conversation isn't like, well, Andy Reid has a more disciplined team than other teams. The conversation is the refs are just assisting the Chiefs, and that's not you starting that conversation. That is a conversation that is taking place. Let's move away from that. Let's move along. Injuries on the Eagles' offensive line, obviously a massive convo here. We think 2 weeks is going to be enough for Lando and for Cam to get completely healthy, or what are we expecting there?
Well, look, Cam Jurgens came in and gutted it out and was able to play through a back injury that they didn't think he was going to be able to play with. They kept him there as an emergency center. He was used in an emergency when Landon Dickerson could barely walk out there. They need one of them out there for the Super Bowl. I would think that both of them will have a real chance to be out there with the extra week of work. If they had to play the Super Bowl in a short week, that might be a big problem, but I'm sure the extra week will do well for both guys and their chances of being back out there on Super Bowl Sunday. But that was a gritty effort by that Eagles line. It's been the strength of the team all year long. They make things happen. They continue to make things happen. And you're wondering, are they going to run out of bodies there? Because it was incredible to see Jurgens initially. We thought he wasn't going to play. Then he's active. You're like, he's active. Whoa. But then he doesn't start. Dickerson's starting. They put Tyler Steen in at guard, which is what I think they were planning all along to do. And then Dickerson can't make it through, and Jurgens comes back. It was pretty impressive to see what these guys fought through to play and win that game and play the way they did.
Yeah, I think Cam Jurgens came out and said, like, Sirianni basically, motivated. There's not. I would have, He came out and gave a full quote at his locker, basically chit-chatting about the mindset of the team, how tight the team is, how close they are, how much of a family they are. So if you can play, you're going to play for your team. Yeah. And Sirianni doesn't do anything is what everybody says. But then Cam Jurgens is like, well, the fact that we have such a family here led by Sirianni is the only reason why I go out there and do that. What a beautiful team. 2 Super Bowl appearances in 4 years as a head coach for Coach Sirianni, and he has taken flack through it all. What are the reports out of Philadelphia about Sirianni? Is he getting a lifetime contract now, Coach?
So we've gone from basically firing him to giving him a lifetime deal. I just think it's so funny.
Who's we? That's maybe you and Dan Orlovsky, not us. Not this program.
Not me.
Not this program.
Not me.
Yeah, all right.
Not me.
ESPN,
Not me.
though. Hey, I don't know if you saw this. ESPN as a whole is obviously
all season long.
Weakest
Barry
link.
Sirianni. He was the lower third. Now, once again, we are very appreciative of First Take and Get Up. We watch every single morning. We love them. We love everybody a part of all of it. But some of their bottom lines, whenever Sirianni was leading his team to home field advantage and everything like that, and winning, it's like, is Sirianni the dumbest person to ever be a head coach? Is Sirianni trustworthy? Is Sirianni the worst person ever in the NFL? Is Sirianni the worst Italian to ever be an Italian? Like, those were the things that are being said about him all season long. Now he has his second Super Bowl appearance. What is the thought of Coach Sirianni over there in Philadelphia? And Howie and Jeff obviously have to love this man for everything he's done.
Well, of course. And again, you're talking about a lifetime contract, but I think obviously when you see head coach salaries exploding the way they are across the league, I think it only stands to reason that Nick Sirianni is going to want to get an extension. He's going to want to get a raise. I don't know that, but I mean, it's logical to assume that. They're back in the Super Bowl again. If they win it, that is the goal of everybody. So that's leverage for him. And I have to see how many years he has left in his contract, but it's amazing to me that all year long, to your point, there are people that have criticized and questioned Nick. There are people that have criticized and questioned Jalen Hurts and the Eagles passing game. There are people that question this team just not stepping up. And in the end, here they are back in the Super Bowl with a chance now to go up against the Kansas City Chiefs for the second time in 3 years in the Super Bowl. See how it works out. Like, again, these things, they usually sort themselves out one way or another by the time the end of the year rolls around, right? There are people that start hot and fade out. There are people that fade out or start slow and then gain steam. And usually things work out the way they should. And the Eagles had a slow start where people were questioning them, criticizing them, Nick, Jalen, the team, whoever.
They're still winning.
And here they are rolling along. Jalen Hurts has won, I think it's the last 13 games he started and finished, the last 13. So his track record has been pretty good there, despite the fact that people are wondering why is the Eagles' passing game not operating at a higher level. Looked like he hit on some pretty good throws there to me yesterday. And they find a way to win, just like the Chiefs find a way to win. And that's what makes this Super Bowl compelling, because neither one of these teams usually beats itself.
A lot of people are saying this is the least liked Super Bowl in history. Obviously, nobody enjoys.
History, wow.
Yeah, well, that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. And I assume there's been Super Bowls in the past where teams have been hated, but you weren't able to tweet about it, which is a good thing, not a bad thing in my eyes. But the world will watch these two do battle. Was anybody happier about the outcome of that Eagles-Commanders game than Dan Snyder yesterday? Obviously, the story came out that he hates what's happening with Washington. And he actually, at the very beginning of Josh Harris's ownership here, was thinking about backing out on the deal. And I think the metaphor, or maybe the reality, was not turning over the keys to the building or to the stadium. Is that real? And how do we get to this point?
Yeah, Seth Wickersham and Don Van Natter wrote about it this past weekend, and there were people that felt like he was trying to not go through on the deal before it wound up going through. They recommended that he would go through on the deal, which he did. And look, it's just a different day and age. There's a totally different mood surrounding that team. There's a totally different outlook surrounding the team. Even after they lost, you heard about the fact that here were the owners down in the locker room going player-by-player, player-to-player, thanking them for the type of season that they provided, wishing them the luck for the future, and looking forward to continuing the relationship. And again, I'm not going to say that Dan Snyder never did that. They weren't in that NFC Championship game under him, but it just feels like, from the people there, that this ownership group cares about the players and the team, and there's a different mindset there now. And I think that was reflected in the way that this team performed this year, getting to the NFC Championship game, coming up short, but giving this team hope. They have a quarterback that you could argue is as good as any in the NFC and a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. Yes. You could make that argument. And he's got a huge future, and that team should be positioned to succeed and have more conference championship games in the future. And I would think that they'll learn from what they went through yesterday and be better for it in future years.
Agreed. And I'm happy that Dan Snyder's just got to sit on his yacht over there and just, somebody needs to hurt this. Jaden Daniels, I hate this guy. He's so good.
Yeah.
So much fun to watch. All right, let's go over to the AFC game, shall we? Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefter, I wouldn't expect anything to happen, but obviously after the game, a lot of Bills fans calling for Sean McDermott's head. And whether it's, right, wrong, or indifferent, he obviously just can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Is there any chance the Bills consider making a move there? Does he go into next season potentially on the hot seat in order for them to eventually try to get over the hump and be able to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs and not waste Josh Allen's prime?
Didn't he sign an extension? And again, it's just so funny to me how this goes in the world that we live in. Because up until yesterday, everybody was talking about what a great job Sean McDermott did. He had put this team where it is. Everybody talked about how he's grown and learned, and he's giving great pregame speeches. And so they lose, and now people are asking that question. And that's what happens when you lose in the NFL. I don't see it happening. I never rule out anything, because you never know in this league, and people do wild and crazy things. And as we say all the time, it's the greatest reality show going. But I think up until yesterday, they've been really happy with Sean McDermott, and I haven't seen any evidence that they would move off that. But I guess anything's always possible.
Why is James Cook not in the game? You know,
A lot,
lot of questions. A lot of questions about a lot of different situations, but obviously he'll have to answer those on his own time. Let's talk about one particular play that could have changed a potential outcome and maybe changes the future of the NFL. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Schefter, you reported, and I think you've talked about on the show before, about how NFL replay assist is going to, kind of be developed more and used more next season. Is there any way they're going to use that for these first downs? Because obviously we've talked about the microchip in the ball, but they don't use the microchip to rule first downs. Will NFL replay assist kind of help with that? Because obviously this is impossible to overturn and it's tough to tell, but even the play before with Dalton Kincaid where it looked as though he landed directly on the line and that was ruled not a first down. So is that going to be part of the development with the replay assist?
I forgot that was the play before. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, people are pissed, Shefty. People are pissed. Yeah. Chiefs benefit from it, obviously.
Big time.
People get very touchy about officiating topics. I see. Very touchy.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
I think that didn't the league experiment this past summer? Not to go back and look and find out more, but didn't the league with the electronic marking, whether that's the chip,
Hawkeye technology? It just took too long. Remember, it took like 30 minutes, seemingly. I think it was like 4 minutes to decide whether or not something was in or out. And they decided they were supposed to do it this season. Then it took too long. They're like, we're getting rid of this. This is way. And then they brought the chains back.
Didn't work in bad weather either.
Yeah, because the technology.
Play the Dawson Knox play again. I want to see that again.
Oh, Chef, wants to give a read on.
I just want to see it. Because I forgot that was the play before. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, Shefty, we're all saying it. Yeah. We all think. I'm like the biggest Chiefs is still the Chiefs guy, but watching these two plays consecutively, it's like, that is really tough. But the chip in the ball was supposed to be the answer. Then they tried it at the beginning of the year, and it was horrendous. And to your point, bad weather wasn't going to be able to operate efficiently. And then even when it was super slow, which is the last thing the NFL wants.
But you got two officials from opposite ends trying to make a ruling. They obviously see it differently because one of them marked it as first down, one of them didn't. And again, we're living in 2025. There is so much technology to do so many different things, and we can't figure out exactly where the football should be spotted. I mean, it's wild that that's the day and age that we're living in, considering all the technology. And so that's what I thought this summer was about. Is the chip in the ball or the electronic spotting system, however they did it. And I got to hear more about whatever came of that because you don't want to have plays decided like that where there's a question at all.
I forget what game yesterday, maybe the AFC game. It was ruled a first down. Then after further conversation, they brought it back to like a third down, I think, in short. So they're utilizing the the further conversation, replay assist in certainly important times. Catches, penalties. I think refs, quarterbacks, you reported whether or not they get hit in the head is going to be used in the future. The spotting of the ball, though, we thought the chip was going to be the answer. And then it turns out the chip was like the slowest thing of all time. Stinks. Yeah, they were like, the chip stinks, so we can't do it. Has to be something.
By the way, when we watch golf, they got golf balls like where they're going in the air, the speed they're going at, like all kinds of things. We can't figure out where a football is on a field, like compared to that golf ball as you're seeing the flight of it take hold on the PGA Tour. Like, I mean, the
tracker
device, the technology that they have surrounding all that, to me, there has to be something that can be done to this is more efficient than a chain gang. I mean, the league was using the chain gang in 1920? And we're still in the chain gang.
Maybe even earlier than that.
100 years later?
As the great Mark Caboli said, we can catch a rocket coming back from space, but we can't figure out where the hell the ball is on a fourth down quarterback carry. That is very real. Yeah. I mean, as everything changes, the more it stays the same, it feels like. All right, let's get away from the championship games. Let's talk about some big stories. Cowboys fans are pumped about Schotty being the new head coach. D-Bud has a question for you.
Obviously, their fan base got a lot to say about the Brian Schottenheimer hire at head coach. But the coordinators, I assume Schotty's going to be calling plays on offense, but are they closing in on their defensive coordinator out in Dallas?
I think everybody has expected all along that it'll be Matt Eberflus. There's a process that they have to go through. I'm sure in the end that he will wind up being the guy. You know, the funny thing, on Friday night, Jerry calls and he starts going into this whole big, long explanation. Brian Schottenhauer, he ain't nothing more than an assistant coach. He's never been more than an assistant coach. Everyone's talking about him and say, hey, why are they talking about him as my head coach? He's an assistant coach. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, like he's kind of taking on Brian Schottenhauer. And then he just stops cold, pivots, and goes, well, he ain't Brian the assistant anymore. He is now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And he was very excited about Brian Schottenhauer being the head coach. I know Cowboys fans, not all of them, all thrilled about the decision, but Jerry believes that he's got this one right, and he believes that Brian Schottenheimer is going to be a great head coach, and he was all excited and pumped up about it.
Yeah, Schotty obviously has grown up in the NFL. Mm-hmm. His dad, historic head coach. Yep. He had opportunities 15 years ago to be a head coach, passed on him to remain an offense coordinator. He was in Indianapolis. He was time in Seattle, obviously down there in Dallas. He's been around. He's seen a lot of football. He's been around a lot of football. I like Schotty personally from the year that I got to spend around him in Indianapolis. I think, who knows if he's going to be a great head coach. That's why everybody just assuming he's going to be ass is awesome.
Let me tell you something.
Because who knows if any of these guys are going to be head coach.
Can I just tell you something? Picking a head coach is not altogether dissimilar from drafting somebody in the first round. You do your research, you make your calls, you talk to the people, you make at that time the best decision you feel you can make, and then you keep your fingers crossed that it's going to work. Because look at the track record of all the coaches who have been hired over the last 10, 20, 30 years, forever.
Yeah.
Every team always thinks it's hiring the next Vince Lombardi, and it doesn't work out like that. That's why there are 7 or 8 firings every year. Why the whole league turns over every 4 years.
What was the number? $800 million paid to fired head coaches or something?
Dead money.
Yeah, and dead money to fired head coaches and coaching staffs from around the NFL. It's really hard to find a good head coach. Dallas Cowboys fans say, well, Jerry didn't do. He didn't find a good head coach in Schotty. Who knows how he'll be? Now, Jerry Jones, Andrew Siciliano, shout out to Siciliano, reports that Jerry Jones says, this is as big of a risk as you can take. No head coaching experience. It's almost like Jerry's selling it to you. He's like, you're not supposed to hire this guy. Not supposed to hire this guy. It's almost like he's like, I found a guy. Nobody else.
He prides himself on that. I think he feels like he has taken risks and done certain things and made decisions that others wouldn't make, and he's built his career off that. And I think that that's probably, to a certain extent, what he's doing now. He feels like he's identified somebody that he feels like other people feel like he's taking a risk, and he doesn't see it in quite the same way that other people do.
He said, whenever you're about 255 yards away from the green on a par 5, and there's water in front and the sand trap, he said a lot of people think they need to lay up, get on there, and maybe putt for birdie. I'm driving the green every fucking time. And every once in a while, I'm going to end up in that water.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen. But at least I can go to sleep knowing that I went for an eagle, not for a birdie. I went for a big bird, not a little bird. I went for it every time. That's how Jerry describes his decisions and his business-making decisions. And all his fans say is, well, get the eagle finally then. Because you landed in the water every single time. Maybe Schotty's the one that's able to get the Cowboys back to relevance, prominence, and championship status. But the fans say he's got no shot. There's only one job open now. Tone has a question for you.
That is true, Schefty. 31 of 32 teams have their head coach. The only team left is the New Orleans Saints. I believe Mike Kafka's got an interview lined up. Mike McCarthy's been talked about going there. Kellen Moore, potentially. Cliff Kingsbury. What's the latest on our last coaching search down in New Orleans?
They're going to talk to Kellen Moore this week. They're going to talk to Mike McCarthy this week. Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, had what I was told was a pretty impressive interview this past weekend, as did Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator. I still look at it logically. Nobody said this to me, assessing it the way I have. I think Mike McCarthy probably is the guy to beat for that job, and we'll see how it shakes out because there are other qualified candidates, but I think most people have thought that New Orleans all along would be Aaron Glenn or Mike McCarthy. Those are the two names that I heard most often all along. Aaron Glenn's in New York, Mike McCarthy's still out there, and now we'll wait to see where it goes.
Okay, the Jets hired their GM over the weekend as well, maybe on Friday, from the Denver Broncos, named Moogie?
Darren Mugie.
Mugie, that's a good name.
Like Bougie.
Like Bougie, yeah.
Got Bougie going to the
Like
Jets.
Bougie, yeah, Darren Mugie.
Do you know anything about Aaron Glenn, Aaron Rodgers, and the future of that entire place over there, or no?
They're going to be speaking at some point in time, and I think Aaron has to decide first and foremost whether he wants to play. and then he and Aaron Glenn will discuss it, and they can figure out what is best for both sides.
Yeah, well, he's open to anything, attached to nothing. That's
right.
He said he would go back to the Jets if he wanted to play, and they wanted him back. He doesn't know Aaron Glenn, I don't think, from our source. Doesn't know much about him, but obviously has massive respect for him. How could you not? Former player that has become an absolute dog. Speaking of that, congrats to Kelvin Shepard, our former teammate.
Yeah.
New DC of the Detroit Lions. I love that man. I really enjoyed being a teammate with him. I enjoyed his presence in the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed his attention to detail. I enjoyed his accountability. I like the way he coaches, too. We saw him on Hard Knocks, obviously, with the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to do a great job. Shout out to Motor City Dan Campbell, giving him an opportunity to be DC. And if McCarthy's down there in New Orleans, he's going to be red.
Oh, man.
He and I have similar pigment, and it gets hot down there.
Toasty.
Snow down there, though, last week.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little different, I guess. When are you
When
heading
are
down?
you guys going down there next week? When are you going down?
That's what I was going to. I think we're heading down on Wednesday. I think, brother, we'll be down there on Wednesday. How about you?
I'm taking my daughter on Sunday because she's got to do media night for Nickelodeon. So I'll be down there Sunday.
Oh, nice. So media night's on Sunday?
Media night's on Monday night.
We've
Should we go
never
down Sunday
done
night?
that.
Never.
No.
I don't think we've ever.
You would like that. You would like that. It's kind of fun. It's like every player, every coach.
Oh, yeah, it's
every
real
member.
zany, right in there. All these zany.
Yeah, you get slimed.
Yeah.
real
Bunch of
zany.
goofballs.
It is. It's goofball town down there. But it is a nice kickoff to the biggest week of the year for the NFL. Congrats to the Eagles. Congrats to the Chiefs. Any other storylines or things that we didn't talk about that we should mention?
Well, now you got the Saints still out there. You got the Jaguars looking for a GM. So those are the two big hires. And then you got a lot of teams looking for coordinators at this point in time. That's the next little hiring cycle that I guess we're going to go through here. But most of those jobs have been filled. And offensive coordinator of Detroit, I would expect that to be Johnny Morton, the Broncos passing game coordinator.
Okay.
See how that works out.
Hell yeah.
You could write that down.
Johnny
Let's go,
Mo.
Johnny.
Johnny. What about Bobby Slowick? Where's he going to end up? Vegas?
I don't know. I mean, just let go on Friday. I don't have a landing spot for him. In Vegas, I know one of the names under consideration there is Darrell Bevel, who used to work with Pete in Seattle. He's in play there. He'll be in play in New Orleans as well. There are a few guys out there. Bobby Slowick, I'm sure, definitely all these teams with openings are making calls and trying to figure out, okay, well,
What a weird timing to fire Slowick.
Yeah, wild.
Kind of put him in a bad spot. What happened? How'd that?
Well, a year ago, he was one of the hot head coaching candidates, and a year later, he's fired, which is exactly why Ben Johnson wasn't going back to Detroit this year, because you don't know as an assistant coach when your time is going to come along to be hired or when it's going to go the other way. You got to cash in while you can. With Bobby Slowick, the offense, I think they felt like it regressed. It wasn't getting better. The offensive line didn't protect well. Opponents were figuring them out. It's just a weird deal because he's a good coach and he's going to do well in the future. And I think one day he'll be a head coach. But Houston felt like it was best to move on right now.
The timing of the fire, though, kind of put him behind the 8 ball on a lot of these jobs.
They had a storm there. It would have happened earlier in the week, I think. But there was a little storm there. People were out of the building, and then they were back in the building end of the week is when it happened.
So that wasn't like a vindictive, visceral fire. No, okay, got it. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Yeah, what about Declan Doyle, Shefty? He's 28 years old as the OC of the Bears. Is that the youngest coordinator or one of the youngest coordinators ever? And is he the next kind of prince who was promised? Yeah, he's only 28 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was on the phone this morning with Denver, right? Like, Denver turned it around this year and did an unbelievable job with all this dead cap money. And now we got everybody rating the Broncos staff here. Like Darren Muji's a GM. Johnny Morton, we think, is going to wind up being the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Declan Doyle, now the offensive coordinator.
That's definitely not how you pronounce that.
Declan.
It's not going to be Declan Doyle.
How do you say it? Declan Doyle.
Declan.
No? Yeah, I would assume it's Declan, not Dickland.
Declan.
Like you just said. Jeez,
I didn't say that. Pat, you did.
No, I'm repeating what my journalist friend said there.
Fun fact, he's a nephew of Mike Ditka.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in his blood.
That is a fun fact.
Chris Doyle, former Iowa strength coach. It's his son.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, we know that guy. Yeah, we attention to detail now. Accountability.
That's right.
He has some opinions on some things.
Yes, he
For
does.
sure.
Yeah, all right. Hey, Schefty, we appreciate the hell out of you, brother.
Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans. I'm sure I'll be hearing from you this week at some point in time, right?
I hope so. Yeah, because we're at the time where we don't have shit to talk about. So we'll give you a call and say, hey, Schefty, what fake stuff are you drumming up? You know, and then you'll come right on in. We appreciate you. Good luck in those Twitter streets as you are being attacked viciously from this entire thing.
Pat, we just try to stick to the facts. That's it. Zero intention, zero agenda. That's it.
Yeah, but what facts do you present and what facts do you withhold are always, that's the decision. That's journalism, baby. That's journalism. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
I always do appreciate that. We're just presenting facts.
That's it.
Yeah, which ones, though?
A lot of facts.
Which ones are you withholding? Because it seems like you're potentially building a narrative with the facts that you're choosing. What about the ones that maybe combat? Those get suppressed? We're telling the truth. Which truth, though?
What's the angle?
Yeah, what's the angle? Hashtag journalism.
Yeah.
Hashtag journalistic standards.
Yeah, someone's got.
And then we get questioned about it. It's like, are you talking? Who are you?
Talking to you?
Who are you talking
Talking to me?
These shoes?
You talking to me?
You think you can do these shoes?
On
What a
media
time.
night.
Schefter
Nickelodeon.
was getting murdered. Jerry Jones, speaking at a press conference about Brian Schefter, just got sent into the group. If we could pull that up. Here's him talking about Brian Schottenheimer getting hired, and this is one he's saying biggest risk you can take. No head coaching experience. It's almost like Jerry Jones has leaned in to all the Cowboys fans saying, you idiot, this is the worst hire. It is, isn't it? Here's Jerry.
Now, I get my proverbial ass kicked over needing people in my comfort zone. Without this thing being about me in any way, if you don't think I can't operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. It's unbelievable. This is as big a risk as you could take. As big a risk as you could take. No head coaching experience. Now, let me share something with you.
Okay.
With all of that, you've just heard him reference his osmosis, his family. Anybody in this room that doesn't believe the apple doesn't go far from the tree has missed it someplace down the road. Especially if there was an effort to make it that way, and there was an effort. But then you go around to the countless numbers of coaches that Schotty has served on staff with and been around, the countless players. How often do you have someone that has 25, I'm going to say 25, it may be 26, of years of working through the human relationship and working, aspiring to learn, have his ears and eyes wide open and looking for techniques and looking for things that make coaches better.
That's what I'm talking about, too. Double-handed twisting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Hey, Jerry Jones football right there in the press conference.
Oh,
I'm getting my proverbial ass kicked.
Yeah.
You don't think I'm out of my comfort zone? This guy's never been a head coach. I'm not comfortable with this. This is the right guy. I'm going to say 25. Shit. Might be 26. You know how Wikipedia goes. It's hard to add up the numbers when he started, when he finished. I don't know. Do you add the first year? Do you not account the last year? He knows everybody. Osmosis, you ever heard of it? It's where one thing bleeds into another because it's around it. He's been around it his whole damn life. I got faith he's going to be good. And if not, fired.
Dak was front row loving it.
Schotty and he obviously have had success. A lot of people say, what has Schotty done with Dak? It's like Dak's best years. Yeah. Let's get to a break. On the other side, AJ Hawk will join us. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. We're in this thing together. Never forget it. Cheers.
We have an opportunity to give away $75,000 to a kid named Daniel Villasenor.
Absolutely.
You're a sophomore, correct?
Yeah.
What is your major?
Civil engineering.
Okay, so what's that mean? What is civil engineering?
I don't really know.
Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I have.
When? Were you a soccer player?
Soccer player, yeah.
Okay, how were you at kicking soccer balls? Pretty good?
I was okay. I was good.
Have you ever said anything negative about football kickers?
Maybe once or twice.
Daniel! Damn, Daniel! We don't need that. You make a field goal here from 33 yards uphill. You're the civil engineer. You'd have to tell me, I think it's about a 40-yard kick. If you're able to do that, we will give you $75,000.
All right.
He's got no laces.
Yeah, what do we got going here? Can we get a shot of shoes?
What time? Hey,
a shot of the shoes.
Daniel showed up in his Vans with no laces. What time did you get here for this?
About 11:40 last night.
Need a lot of power.
Good luck, Daniel.
I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. Wait a second.
Just like everything this morning, that was a surprise. We did not expect that.
Let's go. We got to do one more shot.
One more kick for $100,000.
You got this, dude.
Let's go. How about this, Daniel? How about this, Daniel? Not only is this one for $100,000, if you make it, we'll add another $100,000 to the $500,000 donation we're about to make from College Game Day to the hurricane relief. It could be $600,000 if you make this, with $100,000 going into your pocket. Daniel, this is bigger than you. Let's make a kick, bro.
Way to overcome the shoes here. That was a heck of an effort. Come on, you got this.
In Berkeley, California.
You got it.
Oh! Proud of you, buddy. Hell yeah.
Great job.
Damn, Daniel. Damn, Daniel. All right.
What just happened?
Are you kidding me?
It's fun, man. 11:40 he was there.
I know. $600,000 to hurricane relief. $100,000 to Daniel. What a morning in Berkeley. Way to go, Daniel.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go. This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, UP. Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Championship Overreaction Monday. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football is wonderful. We're so incredibly lucky that we get to talk about it every single day. And the Super Bowl has now been set. It'll be the Chiefs, the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, looking to do something no team has ever done in the modern Super Bowl era. Win 3 straight. They'll have to get through the daunted Philadelphia Eagles team. That is a ground and pound, O-line, D-line, Howie team, led by Coach Sirianni, who's taking on Andy Reid, who has the most wins in the Philadelphia Eagles franchise history, as he leads this Kansas City Chiefs team that literally only wins games. Have no idea how to lose. Now, are the refs on their side? I'm sure you can find reasons to believe that. But what isn't being talked about enough is how damn clutch that guy is. Right there. Anytime a play needs to be made, he's going to make it. You know who he's probably going to throw it to? That guy on the other side of Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. And then let's talk about the D-line. How about Wharton showing up in a big way yesterday? He's a stout individual. Yeah. 6 shoes, too. He had some nasty J's on. Chris Jones, I'll tell you what, I love how emotional he is about ball. National anthem, tears. Big play, tears. Going back Super Bowl, tears. Loves his job. You can tell that entire Kansas City Chiefs team is invested in one thing, and that's greatness. Same with this Philadelphia Eagles team. There's been some drama. There's been some controversy. There's been some fights on the sideline. There's been some inner tension from the fan base to the team, but all they've been able to do is navigate a course to get back to the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years, 2 times in the first 4 seasons of Sirianni being the head coach. Less thinky, more athlete take over. We're planting a seed in manure. At some point, these flowers are going to grow through the shit, even though you can't see it right now, the flowers are blossoming. They're back in the Super Bowl in New Orleans, taking on the modern dynasty. What a game we have, even though a lot of people seem to be pissed about it. Is it the least like Super Bowl that there's ever been?
That's what they're saying.
Please, God, Buffalo needs you to beat the Chiefs. If it's Eagles-Chiefs, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl for the first time in my life. People were saying in the fourth quarter of that NFC Championship, as it was clear that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win that one, and they continued to literally and figuratively run away with the NFC Championship away from the Commanders. All eyes were on Josh Allen. Well, he played fantastic. The Buffalo Bills showed up. They just lost to a team that literally only wins. 32-29, Chiefs cover. Philadelphia Eagles cover the 6-point spread by a fairly large margin. The favorites cover and head to the Super Bowl. The Talks at Tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Conman, what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl, and what are your thoughts on your team being nowhere near this part of the season?
It's okay. You know, we're in draft prep right now. We're finishing, making our staff for the New England Patriots, so we'll get to that point. I expect us to be in the playoffs next year, but the Super Bowl, I personally think is kind of awesome. I think we got it right. And normally sometimes I feel like you can go into this game and not be excited about, one of the teams being terrible or one of the matchups on one side being completely lopsided. Like, I feel like these are two pretty equally matched teams. And you brought up Chris Jones, and we kind of forgot to talk about him in the first hour. When Jalen Carter gets off the bench and just says, like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try and get a sack. And I'm not saying he's not trying on every play, but he is so dominant. And
First play of the game.
First play of the game, he was in the back.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
He said to that Preston, I believe was his name, the backup offensive lineman who was playing guard who had a touchdown earlier in the year. Yeah. Welcome to the Thunderdome, brother. This is what's going to be first play. He has this push, pull, swim move that I don't know how you stop. I legitimately have no idea how you stop it. You just got to hope that he doesn't do it every single play, but he plays every single play.
Yeah.
What do they call him, the Rhino or something like that?
Baby Rhino.
Baby Rhino. He is awesome in a dog.
Yeah, absolute dog. Nolan Smith, too, another Georgia guy. He's kind of come alive here. And then I don't know what Tyler Biotish said to Jalen Carter. I think he grabbed his face mask a little, but did you see Jalen Carter bop him on the noggin? Like, it was bad. I thought he was going to break his nose when it happened in the moment, but both teams, I think, are so good that the Super Bowl is going to be awesome. So if you don't want to watch it, don't.
As you're watching the Chiefs-Bills, and this even happens to me, and I assume us, and we watch every game and talk about every game. The narrative was so much about the refs got it, the refs are the only reason, and the Chiefs are bad this year, When you watch them play, you forget, like, they are not bad.
No.
They are so good. They are so, all three phases. Ariza hits like a 51-yard punt in that wind, cold, out of bounds to start this entire thing. Big-ass return happens. Toby on special teams is making plays all over the place. Their defense gets stops whenever they need it. It's like this team is so good at football that you kind of forget to talk about it, And this guy coming out of Fresno State, I think I saw, oh my God, I'm so sorry for forgetting your name. There's a former NFL guy. He does commentary. He's good. He's on X. I follow him. 100% my fault. Whenever he was at Fresno State, this guy quote tweeted a highlight of him at Fresno and was like, this guy on the Chiefs is a problem. And then lo and behold, biggest game of the year, him on the Chiefs is a problem. And it's like, Andy Reid and Veach, the GM, have an incredible way of finding guys that are perfect for him. Xavier Worthy. Yeah. They trade up with the Buffalo Bills to get Xavier Worthy. And in the biggest moment, they utilize this weapon that they thought could potentially come in and change the math for them. This catch, obviously, people aren't happy about because the ball hits the ground. But the ball can touch the ground just as long as it doesn't move. Well, it was in nobody's possession when it hits the ground. I agree. Okay, I don't know.
Still didn't move.
I don't know where that is in the rule book. And obviously, it favors the Chiefs, so people are going to be pissed about it. And I can understand why you would be, but it's like jet sweeps, everything they were doing with him. He's a difference maker, Xavier Worthy. Then Travis Kelce didn't even really get going yesterday until like the fourth quarter whenever they really needed to make some plays. And it's like, wait till they see that entire operation. And then they got Nuke out there. It's first time going to the Super Bowl. He said after the game, they traded me for pennies in my prime. It's like everybody they brought into the team buys into what they are. In meetings, we're on time, we're early. In practice, we're tucked in, we're doing the entire thing. The way they go about doing their business is right, even though people are saying the refs are always wrong. And Patrick Mahomes is special. This guy is just a competitor. He makes the right decision. He's athletic. He can make every throw. And he's an absolute dog. Whether you like it or not, we're witnessing some magic happen. And Mahomes cannot spike a football.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
That's the biggest downfall of this guy. is his spike is absolute shite.
Mm-hmm.
Spike is shite. Everything else, great. Let's go to one half of the hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, AP tone. Both overs hit, I would assume.
They
Both
hit
favorites
easily.
covered. Normally that means public wins, but instead, everybody was pulling for the dogs.
Yeah, they were pulling for the dogs. It was 66% on Washington yesterday and 71% on the Bills. Now, the public, as they normally are, were both on both overs, so they got those there. But no, it was one of those rare situations where they did not take the favorites and they did not cover in that situation.
We were talking about this morning a little bit, and I mentioned it there to Connor. You know, the Colts haven't had a playoff game in a long time. You know? I mean,
doesn't seem right.
That's 9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler, former Colt,
Baby D. Butch.
former Panther, former Patriot, but absolute dog. It's like the AFC Championship would be so cool to have your team be a part of it.
Oh.
Just so cool. NFC Championship, obviously, would be so cool to be a part of. Super Bowl, these two teams, now we're just going to talk about them for 2 weeks.
That's it.
That's all we're going to talk. We're going to highlight every player on their team. We're going to talk about every single angle. We're going to celebrate these two cities and these two franchises for 2 weeks. Now, everybody on the internet's like, I'm a hate on them for 2 weeks straight. Whatever the case, your team is the focal point. There is a lot of teams that are nowhere near getting to this point, but the Eagles and Chiefs, they have been, sustained greatness here over the last 5-10 years. Fun to watch teams be able to do that. Fun for their cities as well.
Yeah, so many different ways to build a team too, and to see these two teams very different in my opinion. And you talked about the Chiefs, all the guys who buy in and just do their job, like Tooney moving out to tackle, doing what he's doing, Kareem Hunt back in that building, still making plays. Everybody just showing up when they show up. And then the Eagles, you've kind of seen, once they brought Saquon over, I felt like that was going to be the difference.
That's how you play football.
That's going to be the difference. Regardless of how long we've been playing football, especially in the playoffs, it comes down to running the ball and playing defense. Fangio obviously found his spot over there in Philly. And the job that Sirianni has done, you talk about, a lot of people on the internet talk about him not doing shit, putting his staff together. This is his third time now he's had to replace coordinators, and back in the Super Bowl already. Jalen Hurts takes a lot of shit. I think he plays good football. He takes care of the football. He gets his team in a position to win more times than not. So I cannot wait for this matchup, and us talking about it for the next couple of weeks.
How about Saquon's calf? Obviously, we'll talk about it. He continued to play after they showed him getting on the bike and rubbing and everything like that. Don't think he was as explosive, obviously, as it was the first play where he takes it to the crib. But he's special, man.
Look at it.
This guy is special. He is so good at the football. He is, and they bought into it. When Christian McCaffrey goes over to the San Francisco 49ers, we wonder, how's he going to fit in? They got weapons everywhere. They say, well, he's actually our guy. And we are going to now not fit it. We're going to fit in around him. Same thing has happened with Saquon. I think there was some early adversity they had to get through. I think Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, obviously very good wide receivers, got paid a lot of money, expecting a lot of balls. Obviously, there was our pass game's a problem, yada, yada, yada. That was said by players on the team. But once they've all just kind of realized, this dude's different back here, definitely worth $13.5 million a year.
At least.
Yeah.
He's getting $250,000 bonus for winning the NFC Championship, another $250,000 available for if they win a Super Bowl. So $14 million, let alone all the other escalators. Let's go to New York Giants superfan Bruce Brown in the back. You think the Philadelphia Eagles are worried about $13.5 million going to Saquon, Bruce?
No, certainly not. I mean, Howie Roseman has basically constructed the most perfect football team I've ever seen, in my opinion, and basically just ruining my life. He's a top 3 running back in the league. You put him behind the best offensive line in the league, and this is what you get, chasing down Eric Dickerson all the way.
I love that he has constructed the best football. You know how, Brock Purdy gets in trouble because he has so many weapons around him. He's not good.
Yeah.
Will Howard at Ohio State. This guy's not good. He's got so many weapons. Nick Sirianni now
Right.
is being judged. What did he do?
Howie's
head
team, baby.
coach?
Yeah.
He's got a good team around him. That's easy. It's okay.
Who told Howie O-line, D-line?
Well, that's Sirianni's dad, so even more so.
Right.
This guy didn't do anything. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup winner, A.J. Hawk. Age, what does Sirianni do? This guy didn't do anything. And now he's getting, who cares? Head coach is going to another Super Bowl. We don't care about this guy. What a story over there in Philly, AJ.
Yeah, Philly's awesome. It's great to see Coach Sirianni, too, in his presser, letting multiple people know to tongue his beanbag. So that's a new development that I was happy to see, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if that was his first choice to say. I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't there, obviously, live press conference. There are some people on the internet that are thinking that was definitely Coach Sirianni. So that's making its rounds. I'm sure there's going to have to be some sort of
statement.
Community note.
Think about that, Age. If that gets community noted.
Please.
Might.
It will. People, hey, absolutely, people will take it for, like, that'll be the real thing for them.
What do you mean?
I mean, yeah. So, yeah. No, there's no community notes then. We're good.
Well, Hulkster, too. That got community noted when Hulkster did his press conference live on the show promoting his Real American Beer. But Sirianni and this team, and, I literally went after AQ Shipley a little bit. And that's Devontae Smith being a part of the Gatorade bath alongside A.J. Brown on Sirianni. And think about everything that they've had to deal with. They've had to bury their ego and their pride a little bit, that they are no longer the stars of the team. They are stars on the team, but they are no longer the point of the team, of the offense. That is Saquon Barkley. We read a Hembo stat earlier. This season, they have called 725 rushes, only 517 passes. So, like the two star wide receivers are who they are. They want the ball, especially whenever they get paid. They are supposed, hey, this is what we're here for. You give me the ball. Next contract, nowhere near as high if I don't get the ball. So always going to want to be a hungry wide receiver. If you want a good wide receiver, they're going to be hungry. They've had to kind of swallow their ego, swallow their pride. Well, how do they do that? Well, the head coach probably has to do a lot of navigating of emotions and feelings and framing of mindsets and conversations. So them being the ones that dumped that on Sirianni's head, I think is a massive message. I think that's a big deal. AJ, legitimately, I think that's a big deal for Sirianni.
It's a huge deal. I mean, we look around the league, there's guys getting fired every single year because they can't seem to get their culture right, and there's always problems. We know with all the egos, everything going on in the locker room, the head coach, the good ones, it's really hard to replace and to find them. But honestly, I want to hit on the Eagles defense for a second. We hear about, the Commanders turn the ball over. No, they force these damn turnovers.
Takeaways.
This Eagles team, watch Bond, great hustle, obviously, to get there. Then bam, just absolutely perfect. Oren Burks had another great one. He stepped up for N'Kobe Dean. This Eagles defense is fun to watch, and they are absolutely relentless. So that's honestly what I took away. First play, Saquon. This dude is special. We know that. Everything about him is crazy. And the Eagles' offensive line I was impressed with at the same time. But, man, this defense for Philly, they are fun to watch, and they force these turnovers.
I appreciate what you said there, too, about that defense because they had to be resilient. Washington came out and had a 17-play drive to start this game. Went for it on 2 different fourth downs, got it, ended up kicking a field goal. It was very similar to the beginning of that national championship when Notre Dame went on an 18-play scoring drive. And I think Lathan Ransom came out and said, Jack Sawyer gave the best pregame speech I'd ever heard in my life. And then Riley and Notre Dame come on an 18-play drive to start it all. And it's speech doesn't mean shit. It's maybe it caught up afterwards because I think it went for negative 4 yards net until the second half. It's what their defense had to do, 17 plays, giving up multiple fourth downs. Jaden Daniels unconscious on fourth downs, too. I don't know why they need to just play 4-down football.
I was surprised they kicked it.
Yeah, legit. I don't know why he kicked the field goal. I guess because it was close, it was makeable, it was fourth and longer than what they thought was manageable. And then whenever they go to punt it, Tress Way throws a perfect fake. It's I love the way that Commanders team chose to play. Yeah. I like the way they decided to go about things all season. Shout out to them in their future. But back to your point, it wasn't turnovers. You're saying this was takeaways. This team was taking the ball away. They had a nasty, kind of aggressive mindset about that ball is ours. You just happen to be holding it. Zach Bond, not a member of the Exciting Whites, is what we've been told.
By who?
Black guy.
You sure?
But you sure about that?
Not positive.
Okay, so then if you're going to say that, I can just say white guy then, right? And he's on team white guy?
We got a DM from somebody. Well, granted, who knows if it's real or not. They said he's not a member of the Exciting Whites.
Oh, okay.
He's not a member of Exciting Whites.
But is this a D-Butt situation where he can be on the Exciting Whites, but everybody wants him?
What are you talking about?
I feel like everybody wants to claim Zach Bond because he's so good at football.
Speaking of Zach Bond, who's so good at football, he was a special teamer.
Yeah.
He comes to the Eagles. Now he's Defensive Player of the Year.
1 year deal.
Yeah.
Flying around, 1 year deal. The amount of money he's going to make. He's everywhere. And I love how much he hits his helmet. I like any linebacker that like hits his helmet like, yeah. But if you're a special teamer, sign a 1-year deal, the amount of people that have doubted you, the amount of people that you have had to like kind of overcome, the amount of stories that have been told about you not being able to be a guy and then getting an opportunity to do as such and taking advantage of his opportunity, let alone that play, but every play he's made all damn year, he's special. This Zach Bond guy, he's special. Perfect for Nick Sirianni, dog mentality, kibbles and bits guy.
Could be the defensive player of the year. And what AJ said about his defense, do we remember how bad this defense was down the stretch last year, where they were going from coordinator, then putting Matty P as a coordinator with like 4 or 5 weeks left, and then for them to have this type of turnaround, you bring in a Zach Bond, you draft Quinyon Mitchell, who's been phenomenal. He locked up Scary Terry. Again, yesterday you draft Cooper DeJean, you put him in there, Reed Blankenship. CJ GJ's back. Slade's still playing big-time ball, just up front. The second level, you lose a guy like Dean, have guys to step up. Like, just an unbelievable job from top to bottom with Philly, what they've been able to do.
I love the coup.
Yeah,
great.
Sick.
Love it. Anytime he does anything. As he's going out to return a punt even, Coop, they're doing all. Anytime you go one of those names, that feels good. And they love him over there, as they should. Guys got moxie. He and Blankenship are doing a lot. They're doing a lot.
Yeah.
On the biggest stage here now. They're going to be doing a lot.
Flying around.
Yeah, need them. Need them look fast.
More than ever.
Yeah, need them look fast. Need them to jump high. Maybe some more dances, too. Let's work on some rhythm, boys. Let's get some rhythm out there. Let's do it all. The exciting Whites alongside Zach Bond there, first turnover of the game. And that was basically a message that was being sent for the rest of the entire NFC Championship.
Going back to you talking about Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, and you talk about it, how they were used to getting a lot more footballs, and now the Saquon comes in, they're running a ton. You talk like the 60-yard touchdowns he's got more than in the history of NFL. Like those are 20-yard runs if they aren't blocking downfield. And like A.J. Brown is burying dudes in the ground on every single running play.
Yeah, that's like we talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce lead blocking for Patrick Mahomes on that touchdown. Like, that's beautiful. That's laying it all on the line for your team. And let's talk about the Chiefs. Big story is Josh Allen got the first down. Big story is that ball hit the ground. Big story is, yet again, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, that's terrible. I mean, that was
really
I don't know
bad.
how that happened. Honestly, I don't know how that happens with Patrick Mahomes. That's the first real slip-up I've ever seen from Patrick Mahomes where I go, what's wrong with this guy? Is everything okay? He would end up doing just fine later after this. But that's the conversation. I think people want to diminish what the Chiefs are strictly because there are some certain situations where it's like, but this team's great, at all levels, on all phases.
I mean, it's crazy to think like they have that mystique, that aura about them. It's very similar to what the Patriots had for a while, where teams, I'm not saying teams are intimidated or anything, but when you watch the Chiefs play, you expect them to win the game. Almost like no matter what the score is in the fourth quarter, whatever it is, if there's any kind of possibility, you're like, okay, Patrick Mahomes and this team is going to figure it out. And beautiful, beautiful call by Spags at the end with the blitz, taking him kind of catching him off guard a little bit. Josh Allen does an unbelievable job to try to make something of it. Yeah, this would have been a tough catch, I agree. But, man, what a beautiful call by Spags. And this defense, another underrated part of the team. But I think we've talked about it more. Spags gets a lot of pub, but I think they have a bunch of, individual superstars on this defense, but they play so well together.
Yeah, bring a corner blitz on fourth down to win the game. And obviously, you can draw that up in a meeting. You could say this is what we're going to do in the situation. Kincaid knows he has to catch that. The fact that Josh Allen found him in that moment, insane. But Spags isn't scared. And what Spags has done as a DC is historic. First ballot Hall of Fame stuff, obviously. He's won, 4 Super Bowls, 1 with New York Giants, 3 with Kansas City Chiefs. That's more than any coordinator in history. I saw somebody tweet, the fact that they've just let Spags remain with the Chiefs and not become a head coach somewhere is even more inside information that the NFL wants this Chiefs team to be the next dynasty. Because there's some people out there in the coaching world that think the NFL basically says, this is a head coach now. Behind the scenes, there's a list, people say. There's a list that is made. This is the list of people you can hire from.
Can we see it?
I've never seen it, but you've heard people that don't get jobs say, well, I'm not on the list. It's like, well, what's the list? Well, the NFL makes a list of head coaching candidates, GM candidates. You got to be on the list. That's where the teams go to. It's like, I've never seen it, but you definitely heard of it before. And people are saying, has Spags not been on that? Why is Spags not on that list?
Good question.
Why is Spags not getting any interviews? This guy just wins Super Bowls. That's all he does. When everybody's talking about the offense on his team, all he has is a defense that's able to stop Josh Allen seemingly every single time Josh Allen needs to make a play. How come Spags isn't a head coach? How come everybody's saying Aaron Glenn is definitely going to get a head coaching job? How come nobody's saying Spags is definitely going to get a head coaching job? That is a good question. Is it because Spags is just cool with not doing it all? Spags is okay with just being a defense coordinator for the best team in football at the time. I don't know. I legitimately don't know, but I did respect that somebody mentioned it. Oh, you think the first down call was bad? Dalton Kincaid and Josh Allen? You think the ball hitting the ground and them getting a completion is bad? You think all that other stuff? How about them just being allowed to keep Spags as their defensive coordinator? What the hell is that about? I'm like, didn't even think about it, but why is Spags' name not up for any of these head coaching jobs?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All names from all secret lists need to be revealed, but
Agreed. I think I they're coming too. Yeah. I don't know about
that is kind of the word on the street.
A couple that probably won't.
For Spags and
why?
Wait, why are you on one? You have inside info?
No, I want everything out there. I'm for transparency. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you don't tan. You want to be as white as possible.
Well, that's not my choice, but yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, but with Spags, it feels like there are those coaches that become head coaches, and then once they go through all the shit that you have to deal with, I mean, to our point about Sirianni, all the things that you have to deal with as a head coach, like you're just kind of over that, and you want to go back to just being, a football coach. We saw it with Chip Kelly at Ohio State, and granted that's college, but that is kind of the same type of thing where you're instead of taking a head coaching job, you're just going to be a coordinator because then all you have to worry about is coaching ball, and Spags just kind of falls under that list. And there are other guys too, like Todd Monken, they're talking about, like, why the hell isn't he getting a head coaching job? But he just might not want to be a head coach.
It was reported that Spags interviewed with the Jets and the Jags, and Las Vegas reached out for a potential interview. And he didn't get the job, obviously.
This cycle?
Yeah, allegedly.
I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
Jags, I remember him being on the list, but yeah, I forgot that if he actually took the interview. And then
what if he just shows up and they go, "Why do you want to be a head coach?" I don't. So
just get someone.
I know what it is. Teams get real antsy in their pantsy, and they want to name their head coach.
Yep.
Okay, and they're tired of waiting until after the Super Bowl to have to potentially name Spags.
Yeah, it might have been Kelly Moe's issue.
Yeah,
could have been Kelly Moe's issue.
Yeah, Kelly Moe's still coaching, obviously, with the Philadelphia Eagles. That offense is awesome. It's special that we can take a trip back in time, but still have more explosive plays than anybody else. Like what Saquon and that offensive line is able to do, and obviously the wide receivers blocking down, and them sticking and staying committed to it. This is old school football, AJ. They're going to come and get you. They're going to try to run you over, run through you, run around you, however you can do it. And he's untackleable, seemingly. And somehow he only gets faster as he moves down the field. He's special. This team's special. And this is what people thought you couldn't do in the modern day and age and win, AJ.
Yeah, no, credit to Jalen Hurts, too, though. I think he played in one of his best games in a while. He didn't have to do everything, but he did absolutely what he needed to do to get that team. Man, just look at the O-lineman downfield, pushing dudes, knocking dudes over. Like, that's what this team is about, exactly what you're saying. Like, superstar receivers blocking downfield, like going back to Sirianni's whole situation. You tell me this whole team's not bought in. Like, this guy has figured it out. He's got these guys as rowing in the same direction, like going towards the same goal. Like, they all seem to be bought in, and especially at the right time of the year, too. This is when you need to be bought in.
Okay, back to my point. So A.Q. Shipley said the Philadelphia Eagles had the best offensive line in football. Then he ranked them number 6 out of 8 teams that were left in the playoffs because he didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to be able to make any plays or make any throws whenever he needed to. He wasn't the only one that thought that. A lot of people thought that. And I kept asking him. I thought we literally judged teams by their offensive line. I thought we were able to tell who could win and who could lose because of their offensive line. It's like Philadelphia's proving that if you have a great offensive line and a great run game, you can win. You can make it to the Super Bowl. Will there be more teams that'll be trying to do this? Is this what modern football now is, as opposed to being wide ass open, which granted, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown out there, Goddard getting the ball a lot. Goddard was getting the ball a lot, even ran the ball.
Handed it to him.
Yeah, inside handoff on Goddard. So they got weapons outside. I'm not saying that they won't have to make a throw, and Jalen had to make a throw. Fourth down, had to make a throw. Late in the game, he had to make some throws. But it feels like they are very okay just being a run-first, run-dominant team. Offensive line carries this entire squad. I feel like more teams are going to start doing this, especially if it has success, because it's a monkey-see, monkey-do league. Do you agree with that, D-Butch?
I mean, they're still creating explosive plays, and it is, Saquon's obviously a huge part of that, but this offensive line, and then Jalen Hurts, and AJ knows this, what you have to do as a defense when a guy like that is in gun, next to Saquon, you always have to respect that extra element of the quarterback run game. And then I think Kelly Moe did a great job kind of getting Jalen Hurts moving out of the pocket early, getting some easy completions, just getting him kind of in a rhythm. Because when they're throwing the ball, making those completions, you saw the big fourth down and he hit the A.J. Brown down the field. Like if A.J. Brown is one-on-one, he's going to win that 9 times out of 10. The same thing with Devontae. So I think you'll try to build a team like this, but I don't think I've ever seen a team that gets as many explosive plays in the run game like the Philadelphia Eagles does. And that's not just Saquon. It's Jalen Hurts getting into the right plays. It's Kellen Moore drawing it up. And then it's Saquon taking what would be 20-yard gains and making them 70-yard gains.
Most 60-yard runs in the history of the NFL, Saquon this year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Explosives, there's a Hembo stat here on explosives that he sent me.
Take care of the football too, man. Like that's like not turning the football over is huge, especially when you have a good defense and a good run game. Just taking care of the football that's how you don't beat yourself.
Explosive play margin entering the Super Bowl. Explosive plays has kind of been the stat of the year, because there was a lot of mud football early.
It's a new one.
Yeah, explosive stats has become 20-plus yard plays has become the stat to look at. Explosive play margin entering the Super Bowl. Eagles plus 47. Chiefs minus 16.
Crazy. That's wild.
That is a huge. But the Chiefs have been outgained a lot, and they've won the games. The Chiefs have obviously been outplayed a lot, and they've won the games.
Pacheco.
The Chiefs just know how to win football games.
Was this their first 30-point game?
Yes. Best game they've had all year.
Since week 12 of last season.
That's crazy.
I think on the broadcast.
Best that they've ever done. And going back to Jalen Hurts and talking about their explosive plays and having to be able to throw it, I thought Tom was good. I enjoyed Tom Brady.
I think he's great now.
I thought Tom was very good. Speaking from experience of these massive games, and then there was multiple times where he's like, Jalen, throw it. Like they're showing the replay because the big convo is Jalen holds on to it too long. That's why he takes too many sacks. He's like, as soon as they were lined up, A.J. Brown was one-on-one on the outside, he's like, this is an easy no-brainer here. You get back, you throw this thing up to him. Jalen holds on to it. It's like, I thought Tom did a fantastic job calling the game, and he still did his, excitable things. I think Tom has really grown into his own. I appreciated him yesterday a lot on the call.
From like week 1 to where we are now, it's like two completely different broadcasters almost. Like Tom is so good now. And I would even argue Tony Romo. Like Tony Romo in his intro. I think Tony was hated a lot. And I've been on this wheel of Tony Romo for quite some time where I loved him immediately and I hated him and I loved him and I hate him. And I'm back to loving him because he kind of knows who he is now. Like right away in the intro, he like said all this stuff and then he did like a, here we go, Jim, and looked at the camera.
He knows.
Like knowing that everyone's making fun of him for
his
it.
hair real thick.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal.
His hair real
Taylor
thick.
Swift impression was spot on as well.
Awesome.
I like the juice that Tony.
We got a white
Jim, interesting. Jim had an interesting game too. Jim Nance. He's always so damn smooth. Him down on obviously the stage doing the celebration, and Travis Kelce's got a new song.
Yeah, he does.
Do a little thing, make a little love, get down tonight.
Yeah.
Get down tonight.
What are we doing?
I didn't hear anyone say that.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
You gotta fight
Ban
for your right
it.
to party.
Do that again.
He's not a one-trick pony. What do you want this guy to do?
You can be in that situation though. Like that situation doesn't call for like a let's do a new song. Let's do a new song this time, and hopefully everyone's with me. And they kind of were. I mean, you got a little bit of it, but if he does fight for your rights, that place is raucous and it's going crazy, and they know exactly what's coming.
Didn't like all the confetti coming at weird times.
So much.
Yeah, like there's one dump of confetti, and everybody's like, whoa, a lot of confetti. And then it was like, all right, new introduction of person. Well, more confetti.
Boom.
It was like there was like 4 different sheets of confetti that just kind of blocked off the entire video. And obviously, there's Mama Kelce with great chocolate chip cookie recipe, and Taylor Swift, biggest star on earth. Do little things. Get down tonight. Yeah, they said it. Yeah, we heard
really?
it. Yeah, we heard it. They didn't have microphone on the crowd.
I must have seen a different
They
video.
didn't have microphone on the crowd.
I didn't hear anyone say it.
No, it didn't have microphone on the crowd.
You hear anyone?
No, I heard him cheer. I didn't hear anyone do the.
They were singing.
That's a tough call.
Popular song.
Everybody knows the song.
Yeah.
You got to fight for your right to party. Is sweet.
That's his thing.
Yeah, and they fought for their right to party.
Down in New Orleans too, big party.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got down tonight.
I don't know.
Down tonight.
I don't know if anyone did.
People were having sex last night in Kansas City.
I'm sure they were. I'm sure there was plenty of boning.
A lot
but
of
I don't.
whiskey dick too, though.
Yeah,
Sure.
Because how cold it was.
Yeah.
6:30 game. Yeah.
Some brisket guts as well.
It's Philadelphia. I saw a guy walking around with it.
That was awesome.
Did you see that?
The pig roast, yeah, the grocery cart.
Yeah, the mobile grill. Genius. That's what I'm talking about. How come the ingenuity of these sports fans is just so much higher than everywhere else? You know, we need to put them in positions of power.
Agreed.
Tech and
Agreed,
shit.
yeah.
Maybe we'll get a new phone. This is awesome. Look at that, John. Hey, listen, it's not ready yet, but you want me or me? And well, we got you. About 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to be over here at the green lot. You can come see me there. Just rolling around with fire, cooking up a beast.
Cooking up
Love everything
hogs.
about it. What were you going to say there, Tone? I saw a stat or two entering the brain.
Yes, they did. I believe on the program yesterday, the broadcast, I think it's is that 17 straight games, one-score games that the Chiefs have won. And then you were talking about, how...
Which is a skill.
Which is very much a skill. And you're talking about the running game. And I was looking, I went and immediately looked it up. Baltimore, number 1, really good team. Philly, Detroit, Washington is number 4. And then Buffalo's number 9. So a lot of those teams are in the top 10 of rushing. Chiefs are 23rd. So, I mean, they just win ball games. They don't have to do what everyone else does, I guess.
Outrush, outgained, outplayed. Doesn't matter. They're going to play. They're going to win.
Best third down team all year.
That makes sense.
Yeah, all year long. And then they
'Cause
didn't
they don't
turn the
just run
ball
it into-
over since
They don't
like
beat
November.
themselves, too, ever.
Yeah, that's
Like, when's
the
the
thing.
last time the Chiefs have beat themselves?
Never.
It was actually the Bills' game this year during the regular season when you just said that. Reminded me. Mahomes threw a pick on his first and last throw of the game against the Bills in Buffalo this year, and that was the last time they turned the ball over.
So many stats coming through from Hembo. It's hard to kind of accurately depict what matters and what doesn't. The Chiefs have not tallied more penalties than their opponent in 12 consecutive playoff games.
Okay.
They're disciplined.
Very disciplined. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that
also,
what that's saying?
D'Amico Ryan said this like last week. He was like, "We know what it means when you go in and play the Chiefs. Like it's almost like around the league. Like people understand. Like there's a chance they might get a call or two. But we talked about this all last week leading up in the game. Like you have to beat them by 10 to 13 points. You have to. You can't go. You can't beat them in a one-score game. Like because if it comes down to it, they're going to score and they're going to win. They've done it time and time again. Until someone does that, like they're not going to lose.
Another Hembo stat here about Spags. Spags is 20-4 in the playoffs as a defense coordinator. 20 wins, 4 losses. Some of the highlights here, he's beaten Josh Allen 4 times in the playoffs. He beat Lamar Jackson last year, obviously ending his MVP season. And he beat Brett Favre in Lambeau, then ended Tom Brady's undefeated season in 2007. This guy's been doing it a long time. 20-4 in the playoffs. Unbelievable stuff. Last 3 playoff meetings, Patrick Mahomes has 9 touchdowns against the Buffalo Bills. 9 touchdowns, 1 turnover, 4 sacks taken. Josh Allen, 9 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, 4 sacks taken. So I guess you could probably say Josh Allen has outplayed. What do we think about Josh Allen? I'm bummed out for this guy. Bummed out.
Really, really bummed out for him. Obviously, yeah, playing against the Chiefs in this era with Patrick Mahomes and all they're doing, it's unfortunate that he has to do that, but I mean, the dude is special. The dude is awesome. I think he still finds a way to get at least 1 ring eventually, maybe more. But yeah, like I'm not down on him at all. I feel terrible for him.
Maybe. We hope he does. We hope he gets a ring because obviously we hope he gets an MVP at some point. Like we are hoping, but nothing is promised in the NFL. Josh Allen is currently 0-4 versus Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Phillip Rivers was 0-3 versus Tom Brady in the playoffs. Brett Favre was 0-3 versus Troy Aikman in the playoffs. Bernie Kosar was 0-3 versus John Elway in the playoffs. Dan Marino, 0-3 versus Jim Kelly. Those are the worst head-to-head records in playoff history. Josh now owns the worst head-to-head record in playoff
This
history.
is why the Chiefs are assholes, okay? Because at least the Patriots in their dynasty runs, they let Ben sneak through a couple times. They let Peyton sneak through a couple times. They even let Joe Flacco sneak through one time. Chiefs don't let anyone else win, and that's bullshit.
Joe Burrow slid through.
Oh, Joe Burrow did slide through.
Yeah, since
and he didn't get the job done.
Yeah, and they may never go back. Like, there's a reality we live in where Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen, like, one of those guys, or all of them, or two of them, aren't going to win a Super Bowl.
Buffalo has allowed 27-plus points in each of its last 5 playoff losses. Averages 33.2 points given up over that span. 20 touchdowns, 6 sacks, 3 takeaways is the Buffalo Bills defense. Yikes. And then in playoff history, I've not read this one yet, so I'm excited to see where Hembo takes this one.
Ooh.
He's just coming through.
It's going all right.
This could be a stat that,
Hopefully not a Schefter one.
We have to piece. Well, Schefter was in the middle. They were killing Shefty, man. Shut up, Schefter.
He had to know, right? You don't think he had a clue when he put it out there?
Facts.
Send it out there and say, hey, I'm just telling you what facts are. Just no agenda.
No agenda. No agenda, no intention. Or no intention.
In playoff history, teams to score 3+ touchdowns in a turnover-free game are 140 wins and 19 losses. Josh Allen is the only quarterback with multiple such losses, and he has 3, all against the Chiefs within the last 4 seasons. 140 and 19 without Josh Allen, 140 and 16. And 3 of them are in the last 4 seasons. It's like he plays great ball in the biggest moment and can't get to the Super Bowl, can't win a Super Bowl. Not going to win the MVP either this year, we assume.
Yeah.
Because Lamar Jackson got first team All-Pro with the same voters that are doing the MVP vote, even though maybe Saquon, who certainly arguably worthy of the MVP, might have eaten up some of the votes. But it's like Josh Allen's doing everything he can do out there, man. Josh Allen is playing his best ball on the biggest stages, and people 20 years from now are going to say, Josh just wasn't good enough. It's like he is, though. He certainly is. He just can't get past this juggernaut that is the Kansas City Chiefs.
He kind of reminds me of Rodgers a little bit because, like, this is what the Packers went through for a long time before they won a Super Bowl in there, but, like, it was the same thing. They'd score a bunch of points on offense, and their defense was always giving up 42, 49 points. And now Rodgers never had like a Mahomes type guy in the NFC that he was kind of butting heads with that he could never get past. But like at a certain point, it's like, what more do you want Josh Allen to do? Does he need to get in there and like play linebacker or DN too and like try to, get a couple sacks or force a couple turnovers? Like there's not much more he could have done last
Or James Cook.
Yeah.
He's special,
he
man.
He was absent in the
He needs to be on the field more.
Yeah.
That stretch out, yeah, exactly. I don't know why later he's not in. I mean, that's certainly something Joe Brady and McDermott are going to have to answer for. Now, obviously, McDermott's a defensive coach, but he is certainly going to have to take the blame for a lot of the decisions that get made in things. But James Cook, Dalvin Cook's saying $20 million a year will do. This guy feels like, you see what Saquon just did? Go ahead and put James Cook in an offense, have him be the focal point and see what happens. James Cook is a dog. Since Joe Brady has become the offensive coordinator, they put a lot more attention in the ball in the hands of that guy, and they've been massively better, no doubt about it. Buffalo, including the playoffs, and bust that, the Bills played 13 turnover-free games this season. That is the most by any team in a season since the stat has been tracked in 1933.
Damn.
So they played like the most efficient football of all season offense. Josh Allen's going to have a dumbass turnover in an inopportune time. It's like 13 turnover-free games this season. Still don't win anything. Didn't even win the AFC.
Nope.
Might not win the MVP. Won't win the Super Bowl. Man. Buffalo's last championship, the city as a whole, came in 1965 in the AFL.
Jeez.
Even their hockey team says, Hembo, sorry about it, Sabres fans.
Yeah, man,
They're bad.
They've played 53 seasons, have never won a title. Buffalo has been trophyless, championshipless since 1965. Those people deserve it.
The Four Falls.
Those people don't deserve that. They deserve a championship. Four Falls of Buffalo or whatever that 30 for 30.
4 Super Bowls, 4 straight Super Bowls.
They had to win a Buffalo Wing World Championship or something.
Yeah, I think they're just talking about the major sports, but
Oh, okay.
you're right.
That's
Wingies.
fair. Yeah. They
certainly-
win there.
They got great wingies.
Great wingies.
Anchor Bar, massive respect. Thank you for creating the Buffalo Wingy. Not the best wingy, I don't think, personally.
Okay.
There's other wings in Buffalo that are... Anchor Wings small. You ever seen them? You ever had them?
I don't think so.
You've never had anchor wings?
I don't think so.
The original buffalo wing?
Butch.
That from Buffalo?
Yeah.
No. It's been goes to Buffalo.
Dude,
it's a great city. That's the championships. Don't. Okay, is that what you're saying? You're trying to power?
There's 65.
Oh, jeez. It's a
It really
great
felt
place.
like it was the Bills' year this year.
Yeah, I was texting with Nick during the game, and it was a battle. It was a good joust. Great joust. They had to lead in the fourth. I mean, it is like every time they play.
4 lead changes.
Is a great game. Yeah, I mean, that is. And there's some stat about Patrick Mahomes being down in the fourth quarter, coming back and winning. He's the most in the history of the NFL or something like that.
Yeah, he's like 9 for 9 on those types of drives and like clutch time.
Since 1950, there are 241 starting quarterbacks that have trailed in the fourth quarter of a game at least 25 times. Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback out of the 241 to help lead his team to a win in at least 50% of those stats. It's like, of course he is. This guy, he just wins. He just wins. And people are going to say, well, it's because of the refs. It's like, or maybe he's special.
Yeah,
maybe we're watching a special competitor here who just so happens to play football. If he would have played baseball, I assume he'd be great. If he was to play anything, do anything, I assume he'd be great. We just so happen are lucky enough to have him in the NFL, even though people are hating him now. Whenever he's 29 years old, whenever people talk about his story, whenever it's done, it's like, this dude is one of one. This dude is special. And the team they built around him, obviously great. Juju Smith-Schuster read his name on the internet for a situation that was happening up in New England. Then he has his biggest game he's had all year for the Kansas City Chiefs. But it's like, this dude's unbelievable. This dude is special. And we're lucky he picked football as opposed to any other sport he probably could have played, AJ.
Yeah, the fact that how he was able to use his legs last night and how he ran the ball, like that's just what it is. Hey, whatever it takes for this team to win, I'll find a way to will this team and win. Obviously, we know it's a team game. His defense plays well. He has great players around him, but man, like the confidence that he exudes that trickles down is something I mention all the time. And when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes, I think your team feels like, hey, we're fine. No matter what, we are good to go. We are going to win this game.
You know what's interesting is Travis and Patrick are obviously the two biggest stars, and sometimes they can shy away from that. You know, that's something you could potentially shy. Those two are the first two running out. Of the tunnel. Those two are the ones talking to the group. It's like those two understand, like, hey, this is our team. Patrick Mahomes understands his importance. He understands his position. So does Travis in this entire thing. Even if Travis doesn't have his biggest game, he's still very important to the entire process of them winning. Pacheco gets hurt during the season. Him back being healthy is awesome. That's a huge first down. They thought he stayed in bounds. He went out of bounds, stopped the clock, but then they have to make another play. No problem. Let's get to Pirine, who's obviously great for the Cincinnati Bengals. He comes in. Nobody's going to expect him to get the ball. First down, this game's over. We're going to another Super Bowl. It's like in the biggest moments, we saw it last year with the Colts. Our backup running back leaks out.
The first thing I thought about.
Me too. And Shane Steichen, whenever he was asked, like, why would you put a guy that hasn't been in that situation? And I don't know if Shane said it publicly or just to us personally, but he said, you think the Houston Texans thought he was getting the ball in that situation? Mm-hmm. That's why he was wide ass open. You think the Buffalo Bills thought Pirine was going to get the ball coming out of the backfield there? No way. That's why he's wide ass open. He obviously catches it because he's a big time player and it's a big time moment. He's been there before, especially with Cincinnati, but he gets a first down. That game's over. Nobody's expecting that call. And that's Andy Reid football right there. And that's them executing.
And that's what we always talk about. The little things don't show up until they show up. This play was an example of that because earlier in the game, they ran a very similar play with Pirine in the game. And I think they threw it to either Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy on a crossing route. And then the rushing touchdown that Patrick Mahomes had with when Travis Kelce was the lead blocker, they ran that same formation, that same play on a Kareem Hunt touchdown earlier in the game. So it's like they're always playing chess, kind of setting you up for when the games and the plays matter the most. And that last play we talk about, Josh Allen playing great and him falling short, they had opportunity to answer. And that 4th and 5, that's where kind of coaching comes in too, because now you have Spags and Joe Brady. Now they're playing the chess game, and obviously Spags won that matchup there. So it all matters. Everybody on that team, everybody in the organization, and that's why this team is, on the cusp of getting history.
Yeah, imagine if Pirine drops that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Why the hell did you pick to throw the ball to Samaje Pirine whenever you have everybody else on your team, all the weapons? But instead he catches it. and gets a first down, the game's over. Just like whenever Butler was hurt earlier in the year, they bring in kickers that have been cut from other places in Michigan. They make game winners for them. It's like whenever you put the Chiefs jersey on, for whatever reason, you play your best football. And shout out to Butler. He had to make a big-time kick in the fourth quarter. He did. Remember when he came back from injury, he was a little bit off. Now they're in the playoffs. He's able to make every single kick, drives that one straight through, a little breezy, a little cold. Who cares? He's going to make that kick. Kickers have missed that kick this year.
Yeah.
That is something that is very easily missable or even blocked because he hit a little bit lower, but he's a Chief. So what happens? Ball goes through the uprights. It's unbelievable what happens for that Chiefs team.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything always pans out. Everything always works out for them, and that's just how it is, and that's the world we live in, and we're just going to have to keep dealing with it until we don't, which doesn't seem like it's anytime soon.
No. He's 29 years old. They're saying he doesn't want to play.
Oh, nice.
That's what I was going to say. Is like if you hate him now, like how much you think you're going to hate him 6 years from now when he's 35 and he's got 7 or 10 Super Bowls? Yeah, like guess what? He's not going to retire tomorrow. He might play until he's 45.
Yeah, and forget about all the other stuff on the field what Patrick Mahomes can do, how he leads, how they draw plays, how he can make every single play. He also hasn't bitched at all about his contract. Ever. He's watching guys that have accomplished 1/1000th of what he has accomplished get paid 15, 20 million more a year than him. And he hasn't said a single thing. They'll take care of me, he says. They'll take care of me. It'll get worked out. It's like this is the perfect franchise guy. It's literally the perfect franchise quarterback, and it's certainly worked out perfectly thus far. Can they get another Super Bowl over a very, very, very good Eagles team? We shall see. Let's talk about some other news around the NFL. Kelvin Shepard, officially defense coordinator for the Detroit Lions. That was announced over the weekend. He was one of the teammates of mine and Darius Butler. He was traded from Buffalo to Indianapolis. I believe Buffalo got Jerry Hughes in return, so they were obviously pumped with how that worked out. So were we. He was loved in our locker room. Great leader in our locker room. We saw him on Hard Knocks when he was coaching with MCDC. I love everything about this hire. Yeah. I think he's going to do a great job, and I'm thankful that MCDC has given him the opportunity.
He was a great teammate, great communicator. We always have those teammates where we're like, okay, that guy be a coach if he wants to in the future. And he was that guy, and then seeing him, on the sideline, I got a chance to catch up with him when we went to Colts training camp practice a couple years ago when Lions were in town, and then watching him on Hard Knocks was awesome too. When he had the interaction with Rodrigo and the rest of the linebackers in that meet room. So we have that tape, actually. Let's run that.
Watch Rodriguez. Sick of saying this about a rookie. What do y'all want me to do, put him out there first? Because that's what's about to happen. And this ain't nothing against you, Rodriguez. Matter of fact, you're playing your ass off, dude. But it's a rookie who I'm doing everything I can not to put out here first. I'm sick of saying it. He's in the same drills y'all are in. Step 2, pull the lineman off. Soon as he come off, rock back. The ball gonna be there. Keep playing your ass off, dude. And he's gonna continue to climb the depth chart until somebody decides I'm not gonna let this rookie take my job. He ain't a first round pick. He ain't a second round pick. He ain't a third round pick. He ain't a fourth round pick. What round did you go?
Group 6.
Now, if he's the better guy, he's the better guy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But it's the fact that he's doing it right.
How about his glasses, too?
Love everything about
just
it.
accountability in there. And he played for a long time, so he's like, I'm doing everything I can not to put this rookie in here.
Yeah.
But he's outplaying all of you in this moment. Rod would obviously go on to make some big plays for the Detroit Lions over the last couple of years. But that was like his first time, my first time seeing him coach.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love what he's about. And if you don't know him, and he didn't get to play along, I think anybody that played with him would say, want this guy in your building.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do great, and I think he's going to be aggressive, just like Aaron Glenn was. I think he's very lucky and thankful that he got to coach under Aaron Glenn and in Aaron Glenn's system, former player that becomes a defensive coach. But he's going to be aggressive, and I think he's got all the keys up there to run that shit back in Detroit.
Yeah, I think so. I'm glad he stayed there, and they have a culture there that he's building, and hopefully we see him one day be a head coach. But yeah, just that right there, it's a little glimpse inside the meat room and just being real. A lot of coaching is communicating and teaching. And a lot of former players, the Bears are doing it now with their staff. The Lions have obviously done it with MCDC. But being able to communicate with those guys, get that message across, because if a guy comes in as a 6th-round pick as a rookie, he's not expected to play. AJ gets drafted top 5. He's expected to come in and take somebody's job immediately. But that guy, he's not expected to play, so he's just communicating that in that meeting room. So that was awesome to see.
AJ, how do you feel about former players getting more opportunities here? I love it. Now, granted, Kelvin hasn't he's earned this. He didn't just get dropped into this. He's earned this through, linebacker coach, and I think he was a GA in some other places. So, he has
back to LSU.
Earned his way through this thing. What was that sound there? You hear that? You didn't hear that?
Was that a commercial song for a second?
No, it was like an email. It sounded like an email, a little bloop in my right ear there. Interesting. Hope nothing's breaking in my head. Hope that wasn't. You guys didn't hear that?
I heard something for a split second, but I thought it was more so the song.
I only heard it in one ear, so it was probably our intercom thing.
Okay, yep. I heard it in my right ear, which is back room. Great. Happy I'm not losing my mind there. But Kelvin Shepard, former player, getting another opportunity. He's going to be the DC for the Detroit Lions. I think that's beautiful for them. And also, he's been in the system, so not a big change up there, AJ. How big of a deal is that for the Lions?
I think it's huge to keep the continuity, and I think Shepard. It's awesome watching that clip with Rodriguez. Like a guy like that comes in there and is laying the wood, as they say early on in camp. Like that can elevate the rest of the room. If there's a couple of guys in there that might be a little bit comfortable and think that they have a spot, like a guy like that can come wake a room up. And I think it's cool to see Shepard kind of let everybody else know, like, hey, you're on notice, bud. Everyone's job is up for grabs.
Ben Johnson is hired as DC. Dennis Allen, which was alleged immediately upon him getting hired in Chicago, which is why all of Detroit got pissed off at him. This guy loses in the first game in the playoffs, and he's already put his staff together, and he goes into division. Okay, that's really cute. Dennis Allen and he were together down in New Orleans. Dennis Allen, interim head coach, then head coach for the Saints. Great defensive mind. Everybody assumes that he's going to do a fantastic job in Chicago. Congrats to them. And then Declan. Declan Doyle, 28-year-old, hired as the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, we all assume Ben Johnson will be calling the plays and doing it all, but Declan Doyle gets an opportunity. How do you feel about these hirings here? AJ, is Richard Hightower also back as special teams coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Allen, I think he is very, very highly respected when it comes to players that have played for him, especially as a defensive coordinator. So I think this makes sense. And Declan Doyle, another hire that I don't know a whole lot about, but I'm excited for him. And I can pronounce the name Declan, too. So that is another thing I guess I can cross off the list.
Schefter called him Dickland. That's his words, not ours.
Weird.
We don't think that is true. How about Pete Carroll out there in Las Vegas? Obviously, a lot of decisions are going to have to get made. We learned on the internet that Pete Carroll has 3 team rules. And I'll tell you, fantastic stuff here. This was put out on the internet. We learned Harbaugh's life rules from a card he gave to Schefter. Here's Pete's. Protect the team. Be mindful of your teammates on and off the field. If you see them on the verge of making a mistake or doing something that's going to get them in trouble, the onus is on you to step in and correct the situation. No whining, no complaining, no excuses. If it's raining, Carroll doesn't want to hear your gripes, and then be early. That sounds simple, but it's a sign of respect. Your time is not more important than the greater group. Those are 3 easy rules, 3 good life rules. I think the Raiders are in good spot. That's why Pete Carroll was brought in there to kind of change the culture. We'll continue on YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and TikTok Live. We'll see you tomorrow. I did. That came up quickly.
A lot of words per minute
came
there.
Up very quickly there. Did not expect that. But Pete Carroll's 3 rules. I love it. Good life mottos, too. Now, it's hard to be early for everything, especially outside of the football world. I'm going to be honest. I was never late for a single football meeting ever. I was normally early because Rich Rodriguez had the whole, 10-minute window where he could walk in like he was Stone Cold Steve Austin with the glass breaking. And the meeting starts at 4, but actually it starts at like 3:50. So you need to be in there about 3:49 because even though it starts at 4, he could walk in there 3:53, 3:54. Could walk in at 4. Whatever the case is, you need to be ready. So that kind of got drummed in there. And then in the NFL, obviously, they fine you. I didn't want to lose any money. But also, I'm the punter. Why am I showing up late to anything? I didn't. In life, it's going to be hard to get me on time for some shit. I don't have as high of an urgency for some things.
Standard? Sure.
Also, you can utilize it as leverage, too, in certain situations. That's neither here nor there. But yes, I love these life lessons here from Pete Carroll. Easy to see why he's won basically everywhere, D-Bud.
Yeah, I love number one, protecting the team. We always talk about being accountable and obviously, making right decisions for yourself. But I like that. Definitely had some situations where in college or maybe even young as a pro where you see one of your boys about to do something wrong or maybe you're about to do something wrong and somebody steps in, hey, let's be smart here. Because when you are in that situation, when you do have that Raider logo on, when you're in that locker room, like something happens wherever you're at, you're going to be the headline of whatever situation happens. So just got to be smart and take care of yourself, take care of the team.
It's not easy. It's a lot easier to just say nothing. A lot easier to just say nothing, especially in like friend groups. As somebody who has been put in the position to maybe say the things that everybody wants to say, it's not fun. I've lost obviously friends because I'm the one who says, hey, this is how everybody's feeling, and I'm the fucking bad guy, I guess, but I'm not living in the town, so I guess it's just easiest to put the onus on me. Or in a meeting room, hey, somebody needs to say this. Well, why don't you say you're a talker? It's like, okay, I'm the youngest guy here. Why would I do that? Well, that's why, because they're going to fire me because I'm old. It's like, you're a Hall of Famer. Yeah, but that's not... Somebody has to say it. Cool, I'll say it. I'm the fucking asshole. You feel like an asshole whenever you're the one delivering the news, but also you're potentially helping the shit out of whoever is receiving the information. And although they won't say it in the moment or in the time, that message will help them going forward. I like that Pete Carroll says, hey, it is on you to be the friend that is the asshole to tell somebody to stop acting wrong, because I think that puts an expectation on others, too, that if somebody comes up and says something, it's coming from a place of care as opposed to being a hater, as some people say. I think he's creating a good culture immediately. And I think those three things being laid out as soon as you walk in, it's like, hey, here's the expectations of this team. You either get in or you get the fuck out. That's exactly what Harbaugh did in Los Angeles with the Chargers. His messages are all over the place. In the locker room, outside the cafeteria, obviously on those cards that he hands out to everybody. It's like, hey, here's the expectation. So whenever you hear coaches say, nobody's going to be on time all the time. It's like, all right, well, not now, I guess, because you said that. That's the expectation, is that they're not supposed to be there. If the expectation is you're on time, you care about the team, and don't embarrass the program, maybe there is a little bit heightened level to living up to that standard. And that's why I appreciate the Pete Carroll hire, even though his ass is old over there, oldest head coach ever in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, it also makes a lot of sense that if Brady was spearheading it, which it sounds like he was, like if he were to hear this from Pete Carroll, I assume those are very similar to what Tom Brady's 3 rules would be. Those are kind of exactly what he was all about. And the be early thing, that does seem like a very simple, hey, maybe every NFL team should have a be early rule. That might help everyone out.
Yeah, be early. I thought that was.
Or just be on time. Be on time. Be sitting there ready to go. If it starts at 4, you need to be sitting and ready. You don't have to be there 9 minutes early, but be there on time.
Agreed. And it's like, I thought that was just
standard.
Yep.
Legit.
Yes.
People scared.
I assumed, right? Yeah, like I don't know what you and D, but I'm sure I would assume you have similar feelings. Like my biggest fear was walking into a meeting late ever. Like,
oh yeah.
I don't know my biggest, but that was always on my mind. Like, there's no way I'm going to be late.
Yeah. Well, my position, like, yeah, let's not
any position,
any spot.
Yeah. Number 5 overall pick, though. You could have a little different mindset. He doesn't, which is why
you couldn't. You couldn't with any. Like I never had any coaches that were cool with that ever in my life.
Never. Like that's the thing. Like McDaniel says, you can find these guys and
that was crazy.
It's like, what? So when did this happen? When did it just not become a thing anymore that people don't give a fuck about being on time? And then now the Colts, and it's not just the Colts and the Dolphins. We're hearing it from a lot of places.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, those teams aren't playing, but we're hearing it from a lot of places. I'm not going to say this generation because it's not this generation's fault. It's the people that are allowing it to happen, I think, at blame in this entire thing. It's like, how have we got, you're a professional athlete, brother. You get paid a lot of money. Literally, one of your only jobs is to fucking show up.
Show up.
That is literally, that's what you're getting paid for. You're not getting paid for Sunday. You're getting paid for all the other shit. And it's like, if you don't want to be a part of a team, then don't be. Like,
it's a respect thing. It's a respect thing. Yeah. Like, if you respect your coach, like, if you respect your special teams coach, you're not going to walk in a minute late for a special teams meeting. Especially, you're not going to consistently do it over and over again.
Man.
Owner, teammates, like, all those people, if you respect.
The teammates, too. I would think your teammates.
If you don't respect the owner, who gives a fuck? It's like.
Yeah. A lot of times people don't like the owner. So, yeah.
owner, front office, who cares?
Yeah.
It's about like
teammates, coaches.
Also, don't give them any extra reason to get rid of you. Like, why would you do that? Like, that just puts you like on the radar of like, hey, can I count on this dude?
So that the fear of being cut, I don't think exists anymore because by a lot of people. Now, granted, I assume Dahn was scared to death he was going to get cut whenever he's a special teamer, and he is scared that, and the great players are scared to death that they're going to lose their job at any moment. Vinny thought he was getting fired every day. Thought he missed a kick in practice, he was going to get fired. It's like, you don't live in reality, but I appreciate that. Like, I really do appreciate that. There isn't enough fear because, and I don't want to be the old man screaming in the cloud, but like, if something doesn't go your way, you hop in the transfer portal, and then you're potentially getting paid more somewhere else. And it's like, you just got rewarded for being like, so what? There's no, it's like, you're lucky to have me as opposed to, I'm lucky as fuck to be here. But the people that have that mindset end up being the greats. Never forget it in the end, you know? Let's get to a break. On the other side, we'll wrap up all the storylines from the weekend. Great Saturday night main event. Did you watch that?
I saw a good chunk of it. Yeah, it's great to see. Great to see Shawn Michaels back in action, dude. That guy, that's my childhood right there, man.
Sweet chin music.
How about him hitting? He hit both of his knees before he did it. All right, let's see if we still got it here. And then,
His stage presence is off the charts. Like how he handles himself. Yeah, from growing up, I have great memories of him.
Running NXT now, obviously. So everybody in NXT is watching him do his promo, deliver and switch and everything. So it's a little different world now. Oh, is that right, KO, huh? You want to break my neck? He's trying to put him into a pile driver, sweating through, he's warm, bang, right on the button, sleep. Now, I did see some people comment about how, you know, super kicks have maybe been tossed into matches at a rapid rate these days.
Sure.
There's actually something called a super kick party I think people are doing. There's a little difference between super kick and sweet chin music, brother.
Bingo.
And when that thing's coming off that San Antonio boot in San Antonio, it's a little different power coming in there from Shawn Michaels. What a moment. How about Rhea Ripley picking up Nia Jax?
Gosh.
That's incredible.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Gunther, I don't know how you beat that guy.
I'm tired
don't.
of that guy winning.
What?
I'm tired of it.
What do you mean? You're tired of him winning?
Respect greatness,
Gunther's
brother.
awesome.
Gunther is the Chiefs, brother.
I'm tired of it.
You think you got him. You might have hit 4 different finishers on him.
Oh, yeah.
And then what? He still got it.
Sorry.
Boom. Still bringing it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom. That's Gunther football.
Tired of it.
You're not the only one, brother. There's a lot of people sick of him being champion. And Gunther doesn't care.
No.
Gunther says, well, somebody beat me then. But with an accent of a guy who's from Austria. You see him walk, though, and it's like, holy fuck.
Talk about aura.
Yeah, real aura.
Yeah.
Jay now, aura coming into a
Unbelievable,
building. I didn't get to see Michael Cole. I didn't know he was eating behind me. I was going this way. I didn't see him. Did you guys see him?
Yeah, he's eating all over your back.
Yeah.
Was he on? I think he was on beat.
He thought he was.
Yeah, he was.
Ish.
I think he was.
Definitely. He killed it.
But it's better. No doubt about that.
No premature eating.
Yeah, no pre-eat.
Eatilation.
All right, let's get to a break. Wrap up all the storylines, and then I'm heading down to beautiful Atlanta, Georgia again.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Monday Night
Basketball
Raw
Arena?
on Netflix. Yeah. State Farm? State Farm Arena, I believe.
Sweet.
Tonight's going to be a big one. Tonight's going to be a big one. I can sense it.
Massive matches announced yesterday by Adam Pearce.
Walking his dog, announcing matches. Good for him. Nick Aldis kind of looked like a stooge there. Couldn't Jacob Fatu? Holy shit.
Oh, my God.
Hey, post to post on NBC, coast to coast.
Dog.
Fatu. Hey. He's a problem.
Yeah, he's a player.
Problem.
Who's going to stop him?
Athlete.
Nobody.
Nobody.
There's one I can think of.
I do have to acknowledge.
You're talking about our tribal chief?
Oh, yeah.
Age is even acknowledging.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
That's when you know.
I'll tell you what, though. Fatu hit 4 moonsaults, springboard moonsaults.
Yeah.
On Braun Strowman. About 30 dump trucks on his head.
So much blood.
Braun's bleeding all over the place. That Fatu walking promo beforehand and then coming out. Tomatonga with the I got everybody on the Got a lot of good shit popping off.
What about Breaker?
Braun Breaker spear to Sheamus on the side.
Yeah.
I fucking almost, holy shit. Because I see Braun, so I'm watching Sheamus. Sheamus is like translucent. We talked about being transparent earlier. He's translucent coming this way, and I'm like, oh, is he setting up to do a brogue off of the stairs? So I'm like looking this way naturally. And then I just see a fucking pink thing come into my vision this way, and I'm like,
missile.
Boom. Look, jungle cat. He was literally like a fucking jungle cat.
Oh, collapsed lung right there.
Yeah. So much that affected him later. He probably has a broken rib. Now, Jesse the Body showed it. He counted to 3. Counted to 3. The governor was awesome.
Love that guy.
The governor is unbelievable. I had a chance to talk to him before the show. What a guy. You know, he lived off the grid.
In the Baja.
In Mexico, right? For a while.
Like 15 years.
What?
15 years off the grid.
But now he's back. I didn't know he's back though.
Decade and a half.
Oh yeah.
He only comes back for Saturday Night Main Event.
I don't know. I don't know what the schedule is. If that's the case, it's great to talk to him. I get a chance to catch up, and I don't know how many people he's talking to on a day-to-day. I am very lucky I get to talk to him. He was talking about cars. He loves fast cars. Loves fast cars.
That's the Body, baby.
Loves 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. Guy's awesome. His Tesla. He's got a Tesla. He used to have a Porsche.
He's off the grid, though.
Driving a Tesla.
It is tough to live off.
I said to him, hey, are they
electric.
tracking you through the Tesla or whatever? I don't care. What do you? He's awesome, man. Got to see a lot of people behind us. Anytime you go to one of those WWE events, you never know. $1 Million Man was there. Mark Henry was there. Great to see him.
Oh, wow.
Steve Levy was there with his kid.
Saw that.
Kid's 12th birthday, I do believe. So made the trip for the birthday. Great to see Steve. Add compliments to say about all the boys. Steve Levy, ESPN guy who likes us. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like one of the pillars of ESPN who is, I don't think he's ever openly hated on us.
No. It's like a blue moon.
It hit even more rare than a blue moon. Because I feel like we're seeing blue moons all the fucking
Decent amount.
True. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Right? We saw like
last year.
Yeah, we saw a few of them. There's super orange moon or whatever the hell it was.
Blood moon.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, Levy's never hated on us.
No, he's a great guy. Love Leaves.
Yeah.
Very appreciative of Levy.
Owned a great bar in Boston.
Always good vibes.
Underage.
He was the first person we saw when we walked in, right, Gumps? Literally, first person we saw was Levy. I was
Legit.
like, I've been in a lot of states lately. Right? You're not from this one. Made the trip for boy's birthday. And I looked down. What's up, bud? Little Levy, moxie through the roof.
Yeah.
Dap up. Happy birthday.
As you'd expect.
It was good to see him. San Antonio, what a place. 16,406 people in there.
Cannot say enough about the driver.
Hector.
Unbelievable.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Hector's a Steelers fan. Diehard Steelers fan.
Duh.
He's driven me/us before down in San Antonio. Best driver we've ever had. Ever. No questions asked. Including Johnny Violence. Not including Ruby, though.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Not including Ruby.
Yeah.
Falls in between.
Yeah, Ruby drifted a fucking Sprinter van.
She killed it. Honestly, unbelievable not to panic in that situation by her. That was beautiful driving.
Ruby, absolute beast. Johnny Violence, he can't see the field well.
He's hit or miss.
Can't see the field
He
well.
almost took me out.
He did in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he'll also 2 lanes at a red light. Okay?
Slowest route.
No, not only that. 2 lanes at a red light. 5 cars deep on the left lane. No cars in the right lane. He'll be the 6th car in this one. And it's like, yo, do you see the fucking hole right there, man?
Nothing worse.
Do you see that? He goes, what? We're turning left. I'm like, in 3 blocks we are. We could fucking get in front of all these people. All right.
Slither behind a city bus.
Yeah.
Park it.
Yep.
Yeah, but he gets us there.
He does.
He does.
Close.
Yeah.
Johnny Violence work ethic makes up for everything else that he does. He's driving, certainly something that I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, I do the check of the mirrors too as we're driving. I'm like, is there fucking somebody? No, there isn't. So why don't we, you know?
Same vision as Trent Richardson.
Similar.
Trent did not deserve that. Trent's been through enough. I am looking for Saquon vision, though, out of my drivers. Hector's got it. Hector's phenomenal. No questions asked either. We're not talking. Fucking, we're in there. We're out of there.
We're working. Driving.
Well, it's hard for the WWE events because there's traffic, and then also you got to get to a back.
He was hitting back roads too. We were out
three
there.
neighborhoods. I mean, just rolling through neighborhoods.
That's Hector football.
Hector's the beast. Hector, you do your job very well, and I appreciate you a lot. Had something to say about the Steelers.
I'm sure we're on the same page.
You are, actually. I think you two are saying the same exact message.
A lot of us are simpatico on that situation.
Which is?
What are we doing?
That's kind of what he said, yeah.
Isn't there a big change coming at 2 o'clock?
I believe the ownership was speaking at 2 o'clock, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we got a heads up from Kabul that there's a Rooney speaking at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, we'll check that, and we'll wrap up all the news stories on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. We'll see you then.
Well, nonetheless, as of February 1st, Pat McAfee is officially a contributor with WWE.
Living his dream to be a part of WrestleMania.
I want to see Pat McAfee tonight.
I've been preparing for this my entire life.
McAfee wins! McAfee wins! Pat McAfee has done it again! It's time to toast the boys and toast the brand. McAfee's wanted to drink beer with Stone Cold forever. Stunner!
There was a point in my life, all I could think about doing was professional wrestling.
McAfee closing in on another WrestleMania victory.
First, we're going to have to get the okays, obviously. And we did from people high up. They were the only people that knew for a while. There was like 3 people that knew in the whole world that was going to potentially be a situation for a little bit.
City of Stars, Boston Connors here. We will be there tonight. Nobody's supposed to know we're here. It's going to be tough. And if you're a man that's only known for wearing tank tops, you kind of got to cover it up. Nice to meet you. He's hanging in the back. One second. Here you go. My partner's on my face. I feel some shit. Who's not gonna be in here?
Nobody. This is you until you go out.
Come on, dude. Just gotta take a look around. There's some bunk beds there. You know, there's a shitter and a shower here in the back.
He sat in that bus 6, 7, 8 hours, 9, 10 hours.
I'm gonna come down that thing. Holy fuck, what a view that's gonna be. Hell yeah. Look at all those fucking people that are gonna be there.
Just waiting, for an opportunity to potentially have a WrestleMania moment.
It's ridiculous. This is awesome. WWE is just like the best at operating. They take care of the non-obvious. So we're very thankful to be here. And tonight should be fucking sick.
Hell yeah.
I think there's like 3 people that know I'm here.
Are we not supposed to come in here?
No, yeah.
All right.
4 now. Look at you.
Won't fucking say a word.
I'll see you at SoFi. You gonna be in LA?
I don't know, George. Is it,
It's a loaded question.
George, we don't know, George. You don't know, maybe.
What's up, stud?
Oh, nice.
As soon as I saw George showcase that tight end university tank top, I knew there was a chance old George about to do something special.
Are you kidding me, boys? Welcome to WrestleMania!
The night was getting late. We weren't sure. We didn't know if a moment was going to pop up where maybe my services could be utilized.
I haven't been in a ring since SummerSlam. Okay, like not even in one.
All I wanted was the Miz to have an opportunity to have a
match,
just a WrestleMania match.
Yeah, good guy. Stand there.
And then the Miz mentions, I sent out an open challenge, and we go,
oh my God,
there it is.
And I put out an open challenge, and no one responded. Why? Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome!
Let's go!
Wait a minute! I feel McAfee's here!
I have walked out indoor stadium as a WWE superstar probably 1,000,000 times in my head.
WrestleMania was missing Pat McAfee in the Pat McAfee Show!
And I'm thankful to the WWE Universe that said hello whenever I came out on that massive fucking stage.
By the way, there's only 2 announcers undefeated in WrestleMania history, me and Pat. I can't believe McAfee's here.
Hello, beautiful people.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, Snoop? You're a legend, dog. You're the best, dog. Hello, miss. None of us saw this alleged open challenge that you said. But good news. This is my WrestleMania tank top. If you still would like a match, why don't you let me beat your ass right here, right now? You all want to see The Miz versus Pat McAfee right here, right now? I'm the host of WrestleMania, and I cannot make matches official. Miz, I do believe your tiny balls are showing. Tiny balls. Tiny balls. Baby meat as well. There's 80,497 people here. Somebody has to be able to make a match official somewhere.
I am the dog father and the host of WrestleMania, so I feel like I could make that match happen. Right now, we got a ref, we got you, Let's get cracking. I'm out. Let's go.
And McAfee go right after Miz with the right hand, driving Miz back into the corner. Pat McAfee in action. This is a blatant sneak attack. He takes his duties as host of WrestleMania. Oh yes, Mindbuster! Derelict shows up. Check out his tank top though. He's got sparkles on it. You're behind this, aren't you? But no, I had no idea. You said the same thing in the Rumble. I didn't know this guy was showing up. Oh, what a kick by McAfee! Miz.
Hey, baby boss! Baby boss! Tiny meat!
Did a $7,000 tuxedo. George Kittle and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not sure how wise that was. McAfee's got the official distracted in the ring. Kittle just took out Miz. Kittle telling McAfee to go up top. McAfee heading up to the top rope. And taking out the Miz. Now we're talking. Miz may never win another match. McAfee closing in on another WrestleMania victory. The all-decade punter with a punt to end this thing. Here's your winner, Pat McAfee. A surprise here tonight at WrestleMania Goes Hollywood.
That match was awesome. I had so much fun there. That was a good time. The punt was fucking hilarious. You got a tiny balls champ going.
I had a feeling.
We were sitting here all day. Oh, I wanted to text you earlier. I was told not to text you.
Well, of course. Nobody fucking texted
I was
me.
told not to text you.
dude.
You had a hell of a show.
I'm so thankful to the people at the WWE. It was a super cool night, super cool moment, and I'm very thankful for it all.
5:30 a.m. Sunday. This day started 6:30 a.m. Saturday. So much cool shit happened in between now and then. Joke of an existence. I'm very thankful for everything. Let's go take a nap.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, UP! Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Championship Overreaction Monday, January 27, 2025. Hour 3 of the program starts now. Football is certainly the sport that we love talking about. That's AJ Hawk. Wasn't on the back wall there. Was worried he wasn't here. The Toxic Table's here at Boston Corner and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys AP Tony's here. 9-year NFL vet Darius Butler is here. Butch. Big news happening in college ball. A little bit of drama. The Ohio State Buckeyes celebrated another national championship this weekend.
Congratulations,
They did at the Horseshoe, which was fantastic. I saw Ryan Day was there. I saw Jack Sawyer cut a little joke. He said, "I'm coming back for my 5th year, guys." Yeah. I'm joking. Coach Day, Coach Johnson actually said, "Get the hell out of here. You need to go to the NFL." That was magical. They got a chance to, celebrate the hard work that was done all season, but more specifically during the playoff run, where they were the most dominating football team on the field every time they stepped on. One person was missing, though. I don't know if you saw this.
Bobby
Carpenter was there, definitely.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see him in the video. I assume the general Bobby Carpenter was.
Yeah. Yes.
He actually built the stage, was under the stage, and holding up the microphone for the guys at times.
Chip Kelly?
Chip Kelly was there. Obviously, Will Howard also there celebrating what they accomplished. Ryan Day even cracked a joke. Will Howard was able to run a little bit, but got tackled by the 20-yard line more than anybody in the history of the playoffs. A good line. Good bar. I like that relationship between the two of them. Defense coordinator who had a pretty important role in this entire thing. Jim Knowles, not there.
What?
Yeah.
What's that about?
He was actually told not to go, allegedly, if you listen to some reports, as he tried to figure out what he was going to do next season. Well, we have learned that he's going to be Penn State's defensive coordinator. Whoa. And that announcement came on the same exact day as the celebration for the national championship of Big Ten rival Ohio State Buckeye. There was a thought that maybe he would go back to the state of Oklahoma, where his family resides or his wife's family resides. Instead, he's going to Happy Valley to become Penn State's defensive coordinator at $3.1 million a year. AJ, what the hell's going on? I heard Ohio State Buckeye fans pissed about this situation. They said, oh, he skipped the celebration, then he goes to Penn State. To hell with this guy. Then a report comes out he was actually asked not to come to the celebration as he was trying to weigh his options for what the future was. Age, what are your thoughts on this all, and how does it end up working out? Do people pay respects to this guy inevitably eventually?
I think time will tell. But yeah, I think right now people I think are pretty pissed. But this is where we are, right? This is where we are in sports. I mean, I guess Penn State wants to throw you $3.1 million a year at you, and I don't know I wonder how long he's been planning on leaving, or if this kind of came about very quickly throughout the playoffs or right after the championship, like how all that works out. But yeah, I did not expect this to happen. I mean, we were just talking, Tone said we watched Jim Knowles stalk the field pregame as he was just so cool and calm and collected, just walking around not talking to anybody. So definitely a bit surprising, I guess, what he is from the state of Pennsylvania, so maybe that has something to do with it. But now he gets to come play Ohio State again as the D coordinator of Penn State.
The rumor was that he told Ohio State what it was, and the offer was well below the $3.1 million. And once again, Penn State all in on sports. Penn State with this new NIL and the ability to utilize their alumni and how wealthy and successful their alumni is, they have certainly done that. Pat Kraft, the athletic director, has shaken every hand. He has built every single thing and model that you could possibly have to have a successful sports program in the modern era that it is. Them paying him $3.1 million is obviously awesome for Knowles, but it happening on the same day as the celebration is seemingly what really pissed everybody off. Is that right?
I guess, yeah, that he wasn't there and he didn't get, and now coming out on like why he wasn't there, I guess if they're saying that the school asked him not to come if he hadn't signed his deal. That's what's weird, I think. But I don't know. I guess maybe people just caught off guard. I don't know if there's any rumors of something like this happening before the championship game. I never heard anything of it. It was all new to me.
We definitely talked about him potentially going to Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. You and I both. Right. You were here.
I guess the timing, it is weird that it was like the night before and the day of the celebration. That's probably the timing, I think, is what took a lot of people, kind of caught him off guard.
And him staying in the Big Ten, I guess, going to Penn State instead of going to like Oklahoma. Because I think the narrative was his wife's family is back in Oklahoma, and obviously Ohio, Oklahoma, very far apart. So I think they were trying, in my eyes, they were trying to set the table almost for him to go back to, like, why would you leave if you weren't going to be a head coach? If you're just going to be a D coordinator, why would you do that? They were trying to be like, well, you know, family and missing and everything like that. He wants to get back there. So for it to be to Penn State and then in the same, even further from Oklahoma, and for the money, it's like I could see how Ohio State people, people would react the way that they would react. But once again, Penn State is not scared to make any offer, to make anything happen for them to win a national championship. They see Michigan do it. They now see Ohio State do it. They've been out of the conversation. Pat Kraft said, we're getting back into the convo.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, Michigan wins the national championship. They brought basically everyone back to do it. Then 18 guys get drafted. Ohio State basically they brought everyone back. They're going to have a ton of guys drafted. Now Penn State, majority of their team is coming back, and they make this huge move for Jim Knowles. Ohio State made a huge move for Jim Knowles a few years ago when their defense wasn't good. He had Oklahoma State as a top 10 defense before he came to Ohio State. The last 2 years, he had the number 1 and number 2 defense at Ohio State. Penn State already has a ton of guys on that side. Tom Allen left to go to down to Clemson. So, like, yeah, this is huge for those schools.
I think the rumblings around Penn State were that Dan Orr was a pretty big part of that Penn State defense as well, former player over there. Whenever Tom Allen got moved up to the booth, there was a thought that Dan Orr was potentially doing a little bit more hands-on. I wonder what he'll be, if he'll still be with Knowles over there. But this is becoming a trend now. People are getting pissed at their coaches for leaving and going to other places, D-Butch.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's the business of sports. But did you say Ohio State didn't match what Penn State was willing to give them?
That's what the report was.
That wasn't close.
We don't know. It was
close.
well under.
Surprising.
Yeah, because Ohio State has.
You would think.
I mean, maybe not like Penn State.
Brett McMurphy, guy in college football, knows a lot of sources, been around a long time. Ohio State DC Jim Knowles was asked by school not to attend Buckeyes national title celebration while he deliberated his options, source said. Knowles' representation tried to reach a deal with OSU week before title game and immediately after, but eventual offer was well below the competition, source said. Knowles signed a 3-year, $9.3 million deal with Penn State on Sunday. Well below, sources say. Well, who would the source be? Well, he references Knowles' representation a couple different times in there. We can assume that insiders get information from agents, not saying that's necessarily who it is. But yes, well below was certainly what was said. I thought Ohio State could match anybody for anything.
I would have thought so as well. So, I mean, can't blame Jim Knowles, especially, coaches at his age. You got to take that money. And Penn State, you talked about the talent over there. I would expect the Ohio State pipeline to be better. I feel like it's almost like a step back in a way, but I mean, you can't turn down $3 million a year.
Yeah, and in the end, like, of course, it definitely is massive. But like, Ohio State's still got Caleb Downs. Their corner just announced to I forget how to pronounce it. There it is. That
Sonny Styles coming.
He's coming back. He wants to be a first round.
Lathan?
No,
he's going to the league.
Yeah, I think he has to.
He's done.
Jack's up.
Yep.
JTT's up. Lathan's up.
Cody Simon's up and backer.
How about Tyleek?
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Like, losing a lot of guys, but still got that. The
Who's
guy.
DC? Who's going to be DC? AJ General?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know if Bobby goes from the street to defensive coordinator for the Bucs, but yeah, I don't know who is even rumored to be out there. Who are they even talking to about?
I'm not sure what the names are, but like they had to pay Chip pretty good money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm sure they could pay any number. What do you mean? Like I'm sure they could match if they wanted to. I don't know what the reason is, but there's a reason they didn't step up and match. I guess what Penn State offered.
The rumbling and a lot of people were looking into the tea leaves because Ryan Day said like one of the greatest minds, young minds in football. I believe the safeties coach for Ohio State, Matt Guerrieri or something like that. There's a lot of steam on the Ohio State Twitterverse about him, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, there's always they'll get a good hire.
No doubt.
Ryan Day will hire a great defense coordinator.
Yeah, that defense was so good.
Dominant.
So good. We watched it the year prior with Jesse Minter and the defense that they had in Michigan, and then watching this Ohio State defense, very similar in a lot of ways with how disciplined they were, how well they tackled. So, yeah, you can't overlook how important that coaching hire is. You can have talent, but until you bring the right coach and cultivate, have everybody on the same page playing, from 1 to 11, that's a big, big deal.
I've tried to say this on game day a lot, and I think, because I'm a doofus, it doesn't get really appreciated much. Penn State's all in. Penn State is all the fucking.
We watched them implode the whole half of the stadium off like the day they got done playing.
That's $700 million they're putting into that. Just able to find that like this. 700. That's just for the stadium, let alone for all the players. There's alleged stories coming out of signing days happening and people saying, if somebody comes back and says they need an extra 100,000, we got 150,000 extra if they need it. Whatever they need, we got. It's like Penn State's alumni, all in. Penn State's athletic department, all in. Penn State as a whole in sports, all in. And I think this is another message. Like, hey, we're fucking for real here. Like, this is not we're not just trying. We are going to win a national championship here. Whether you basketball team, I think, is balling right now. Mm-hmm. I think if they were at least.
They're decent. I mean, Big Ten, you never know. They might make the tournament. That'd be huge for them.
But they hadn't been in a long time. Mm-hmm. Like, they're going all in and all these, like, Penn State wants to be, like, dominate sports. And their new AD, Pat Kraft, former linebacker at Indiana. You're talking like meathead, but one of those genius meatheads. Is like, yeah, our sports are going to be good. And he's also an incredible rounder-upper of stuff. It's like, this is a big move by Penn State, stealing Jim Knowles from Ohio State. That is...
Does James Franklin? How many years does James Franklin have left on his current deal? Like, do they have to re-up him?
They just did it this year.
Thought he
2
got
years
another
ago or last
extension.
year?
How long has he been there?
I mean, is this more pressure on him? Like, does he have to win a national title in the next couple of years?
Is this a Ryan Day hiring Chip Kelly situation?
2031, he's there till as of right now.
But once again,
that doesn't mean shit.
They don't give a fuck over there.
Nope.
Now they do. I think they like James Franklin. That is not me saying that. I'm just saying, like, if it doesn't work out, they're not scared to pay the buyout or whatever it is. Like, money is not a tough thing to find in the Penn State alumni streets for one reason or another. I did not know that either. I did not. But I guess if every person I met from Penn State pretty well off.
Yeah. Massive school too. So many people go there.
Yeah, but they're all pretty.
That's what I mean. Like the amount of people who go on to do great things. And
because if you got 100 people that give $100,000, you're in a good spot.
We went to that bookstore when we were there. It was the most absurd thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, they have the most CEOs in the country, right? That was their.
Yeah.
We have the most CEOs in the country. Starbucks CEO made $96 million.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. In like 4 months.
I didn't know that. That was off of stock and other shit.
Yeah.
100 times 100,000 is what?
10 million.
So, like, they could just find that, I think, anytime they need it. James Franklin's buyout is $56 million this year. Which,
jeez.
But if they wanted to do that, they
could do it.
Like, that's how Penn State is operating. Is like, money is not a problem here for anybody.
I mean, he needs to win. If they're going to invest that much money into the program and everything like that, and you see all these other schools in the Big Ten winning national championships, and like they're positioning themselves with like, hey, we need to go win. Like, you can't, he needs to win. Otherwise, they will fucking find someone else.
I think he's thankful, though, that they're in a position where they're, all in.
Invested.
Invested.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's stay on the defense coordinator front. Bob Saleh back with the Niners officially. Hopefully he'll find his joy again, right?
He will. Yeah, definitely will.
Yeah. Gumpy and I were talking about this on one of the flights. Saleh was awesome when he was on the sideline of the Niners. Then he goes to the Jets and has to deal with everything that the Jets are, and he kind of loses his happiness. He goes to the Packers, looks like he probably enjoyed himself, had a good year. He goes back to the Niners. I assume first meeting is going to be like, boys, just like we used to do, same old shit. We are going to get it. And congrats to Kyle Shanahan getting Saleh back. Congrats to the Niners getting him back. Disappointing year for the Niners this year, AJ. Very disappointing.
I mean, like a weirdly disappointing season that I did not see coming, that is for sure. Like, I know they dealt with plenty of injuries and everything, but just shows you, I guess, how tough it is to consistently win football games in the NFL. And Shanahan, I mean, bringing Saleh back, you're right, though. Like, and when you say, hope we can find his joy again, that's like a real, it's a real thing. Like, when these guys, it felt like the weight of the world was on him when he's coaching the Jets and everything that he has to deal with. Like, yeah, just get back to coaching ball and doing what you love, and we'll see if he gets in the head coaching cycle eventually.
Do you win because you're happy, or you're happy because you win? I think it's the first one more so than anything. But, boy, if you lose, it's hard to be happy.
Oh, yeah. You know they brought him to be their special teams coordinator?
Who?
Brent Boyer.
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
San Fran?
San Fran.
Holy shit.
Our guy.
This guy's a beast. He was at the Jets, and I think even the Jets fans would say there was a lot that went wrong with our team. Our special teams was great. Blocking kicks, taking kicks to the house, throwbacks, you name it. Boyer's a dog. He played in the NFL 13 years as a teamer, I believe, back whenever it was CTE era. And he's wedge buster, this guy, as a teamer. Absolute beast. Stud. Great coach. Players love him because he was a player and he has that mentality, but he's obviously very good at his gig. So you got Shanahan, Salah, and Boyer. That is a great setup for the Niners to bounce back. Christian McCaffrey just going to be okay?
We'll see.
Achilles tendonitis is just going to be all
Can
right?
they keep their roster together too? Can they keep everybody, or are they going to lose anybody big?
That's the convo with Purdy now. Is like if they pay him normally that first year, right? Because
maybe.
you can front load it and have so many signing bonuses. Like the first year might not be affected this upcoming year, but like it's the years after.
Let's stay in the NFC West. The Seahawks have hired Clint Kubiak of the Kubiak family regime to be the new offense coordinator. Jeremy Grubb, who was with the Washington Huskies, was with McDonald in his first year with the Seahawks as offense coordinator. He ends up not being the guy that they want long term. He is not with the Alabama Crimson Tide yet with Kalen DeBoer.
That's great.
We'll wait on that. We assume that's going to take place. Now Clint Kubiak in for the Seattle Seahawks. What's Kubiak offense? That's Denver, right? Back in the day, is that where it came from?
Denver, Texas.
People love Gary.
Houston, Texas.
People love Gary.
And they started off so hot in New Orleans this year with Derek Carr. You thought, Kubiak, Carr. He's got Carr back playing at an MVP Pro Bowl level, and things just kind of fell off. But got to see him get a new start somewhere.
Happy for him. And then let's go to basketball. Just like we fucking said, Tyrese Halliburton on Saturday in Paris beats Dahn Wemby in his home country.
Wasn't close.
He won halla-bonkers. He won halla-bananas.
Yes, he did.
In the third quarter, did his thing, and that was the best costume that he's worn to a game yet. It was, he had a black trench coat thing on with a little black underneath with a couple other little touchy-touchy, how you doing things here?
Yeah,
I think that was his best game costume that he's had all year. Knew he was going to have a big one, and he got the job done, and I appreciate him for that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I saw a lot of people saying the Pacers are front runners for worst dressed team in the NBA.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the others walking in. I saw Miles Turner going shirtless with a sport coat that was kind of sideways on. They were in France. They had to do big-time fashion
I think it was
stuff.
Fashion Week, too, over there, maybe.
Every week's Fashion Week in there. This is his best costume yet, by far. No questions asked.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that was before the win. That wasn't before the loss. But I appreciate him representing America. Did you see the big Pumas he was wearing too with the American flag on the back of it?
Yeah, they look
with
sweet.
The gold. I would buy those. I don't know where those are available, but I would buy those particular shoes. So shout out to the Pacers getting a win for America over there in France. Because if they got boat raced twice in front of the French people by a Frenchie, that'd be tough for the NBA. They said ratings were bad. Imagine them losing to France twice publicly like that. He did that for all of the NBA. He did that for all of USA. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton going halla-bonkers.
You could kind of tell he was going to go off, too. Before the game, someone from the Spurs, can't remember his name, and then Pascal Siakam for the Pacers both addressed the crowd in French, and it was awesome. Like, I had no idea what they were saying, but it seemed awesome. And Halliburton was loving it. He had a big grin on his face after it. You knew he was going to go off.
Yeah, I think he even said, bonjour, ça va, shite, because what I'm going to do, I think is what Halliburton said, and that's good. And obviously, it's a massive week here in Indianapolis. The Royal Rumble is at Lucas Oil Stadium this Saturday. Friday night SmackDown here in Indianapolis, and then we have a kickoff show before SmackDown on Friday. This is a great day to be here. It's a great week to be here.
Awesome.
And we can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for a living. We'll be back tomorrow with a big one. Tomorrow's going to be a good show.
Massive.
Huge.
Everybody's dealing with a little cold right now, AJ. I don't know if you heard it around the building here in Thunder.
I hear some coughing, off mic every once in a while.
Sniffling, coughing. It's that time of year. We don't have it Super Bowl week. We're thinking it's all going to be out by Super Bowl week, which is good because the last two Super Bowl weeks I've had to battle through it.
Yeah, last year was tough.
Yeah, so me getting it last week into the weekend was good for me, even though it sucked Saturday Night Main Event. I had no voice at the end of that thing.
Battled through, though.
Power through.
Dude, there's nothing like being scared to talk because you have no idea if your voice is going to be there. Like, should I say something right now? I have no idea because this could be really, really bad. Have to drop into, a couple different places of the octaves.
Yep.
Kind of. There's a sneeze right there. All right. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. We appreciate you all so much. We're going to get healthy. We're going to get stronger.
Hell yeah.
We're going to get better.
Right.
Because we know this is the greatest time of year. There's only one football game left.
Damn it.
Damn it.
but it's the big
well,
one.
not a good thing, but at least there's one.
It's a big one.
It's the big one. We have 2 weeks to chat about it. We have the Pro Bowl games obviously happening.
Thursday and Sunday on ESPN.
We have the Royal Rumble on Saturday in this city. 60,000 plus are going to watch the most exciting event of the year, where nostalgia and today meet for a magical moment every single time. And then we're back tomorrow with a big old guest on the show.
Hell yeah.
Tomorrow's show's big. All right, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change your life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on three. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.